Well, welcome back to the Hive as we're getting ready to go. Quick start, as always, Lance Rock back here. I'm Jason Groth with Lance Rock. As we're getting ready to go, it's the Spuds and the Lakers. As it seems like we're going to have a little bit of a breather, and then next thing you know, here we go. And let's go for match number 2 of 3 here tonight from the Hive. Beautiful place for wrestling, and they're ready to go.
Yeah, a little quicker start than I thought, Jason. I walked away for just a little bit, and here we go. So, again, Moorhead Spuds versus the Detroit Lakes Lakers. At 106, we have Dane Ellingsburg, 3-7 now on the season, a 7th grader, going against, I think they said, Andy Bartness, an 8th grader, currently 2-7 on the season for the Lakers. So, probably pretty evenly matched. We talked a little bit about there is a takedown for Ellingsburg. We talked about earlier in the season, Moorhead and Detroit Lakes met up. Detroit Lakes was a 59-9 winner, so probably a little bit of a revenge for Moorhead here, hoping that they can probably closen up that score a little bit, and DL's hoping that they can do a lot more of the same, I would guess. I
think it's going to be interesting to see what we're going to see from this DL team, knowing that, you know, you have that win in the bag from earlier this year and how lopsided it was. Does Coach Elliott go with a different type of lineup tonight? Give a couple of guys the rest. I know it's a COVID year, so you're not having as many matches, so you don't really want as much of a rest, but it might be an opportunity. Not trying to look past an opponent, never want to do that, but it might be an opportunity to give some of your guys a breather and a chance, you know, here to some younger guys some experience and build up that program even more than where they're at right now as one of the section favorites in Section 8 AA.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here as we get going, but a nice job here by Dane Ellingsburg as he's kind of held on to that position with 20 seconds remaining here and trying to hold out for the period, making sure he's up 2-0, but valiant effort here by Andy Bartness trying to get out, and they just kind of keep circling around, and they haven't moved very far from the R and Perham there on the mat. Looks like we're going to go into the second period. With a 2-0 lead, and in this case it is Detroit Lakes' choice. They defer. Ellingsburg takes down. So in this one, green will be Moorhead. Green, when the official signals green, it'll be Moorhead. Red will be Detroit Lakes, which makes it kind of easy to remember for me. And at this point of the night, I need it usually. So. And
I was just going to say it's confused me because I had to change everything on the scoreboard to match up.
Exactly, and we didn't have as much time as we thought. So little sit and switch there for Ellingsburg, but a great job by Bartness following him. And we'll see who comes out of this one. And Ellingsburg's definitely looking more for the reversal than the escape, it looks like. But there again, I think I'd be dizzy if I was wrestling in this match, Jason.
Well, I know I would be, no doubt about it. I'd probably be pinned already, though.
Well, I know that for me for sure. So, again, Bartness just kind of holds on to position. 2-0 in favor of Ellingsburg. 2-0 Ellingsburg in this position. Ellingsburg's come to his feet with a minute to go, and it's now 3-0. So, Ellingsburg, I wish I kind of had the rundown of, I should have looked up who wrestled who, but a lot of times it doesn't matter when you're in the first match of the year. You're trying to find people to fill all the weights.
Well, and you look at that, and then you mention the fact that it's a COVID year. Some of those kids that probably are definitely not in that same spot as they were then as they are now.
There's another takedown by Ellingsburg, so he leads 5-0. And definitely on maybe his way with 2 minutes remaining in the second to gathering some of those bonus points. And we're back to we've got something going on that does that every time to us, but makes me look anyways.
Well, it tests our how quickness I'm getting with the switcher here.
Yeah, you're doing much better than I would have. We would have had 2 commercials on if I was in charge of that. There's the end of the second period, and 5-0 lead. It is DL's Bartness's choice and we've got a little blood timeout. So a good chance for us to maybe talk about some things we didn't get to in the pregame here. Detroit Lakes, like we said, came in. They come in with a 12-2 team record. They have a loss to UNC, who United North Central, who the Jackets lost to. They also they have a loss to Thief River Falls, who the Jackets beat on a tie criteria in the very first of the year. So Detroit Lakes was the Section 828 champs in 2020. They got third place at the state wrestling tournament in 2020, and they're ranked 11th right now in Class AA. So again, we talked about Section 8-2A. We have the 8th rated team, which is Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus. We have the 9th rated team, which is Thief River Falls. The 11th, which is Detroit Lakes. And then lean and mean is Perham. So whoever's going to come out of this section is going to have some formidable opponents along the way.
Well, yeah, and they're definitely battle tested. That shows the parity in 8-2A. We'll see it when they wrestle head-to-head later tonight. And you look at it right now in 8-3A, we've seen some opponents there that are pretty good as well. So you never know what's going to happen. And this one, you just kind of have that feeling that Detroit Lakes kind of wants to send a message. I know they're down in this match, but I think they kind of want to send a message with the Yellow Jackets getting ready to watch for the next one.
You know, and they've got to be thinking the Yellow Jackets are somewhere in the building watching what's going on here as just like DL was when the Yellow Jackets were wrestling, which sets up a great end to the evening when we have these longtime rivals going at each other again. So 7-2 on the scoreboard now, 7-2, 55 seconds remaining at 1:06. This has been a good match. I would guess that Moorhead would love to see some bonus points. And just as I say that, it's 9-2, so that would have made not a major decision yet. And the escape happens. So it's 9-3, 6 points. So definitely Ellingsburg is going after this takedown with 25 seconds remaining, knowing that this is the one that would give them the extra bonus point, and there it is. So nice work by Dane Ellingsburg, a 7th grader, to kind of know the clock, know the situation. He now has a chance. He's just got to hold down Andy Bartness here for the last 5 seconds. Bartness is really straining to try to get that escape or reversal in, and just a little too late, not enough time in that one. So again, Detroit Lakes only gave up 9 in the first meeting. There's 4 right away for them. So Moorhead coming out and doing what they need to do to get points on the board. So Moorhead leads 4-0 going into 1:13.
And that's a great start for the Spuds. That's one they were looking for after a very tough loss. And they were able to pick up a victory at 1:06, like you said, going to 1:13. A little bit of momentum, and now here's the unique part. Now it's the individualized part of the sport where you got the team points. Now it's working individually, and now there's already some maneuvering going around, it looks like, at the scores table.
Exactly. So that's where that coin flip comes in, and we're making sure that the right wrestlers are matched up at the right spots, and we're going to be ready to go. And this is Nolan Gidding, 8th grader for Moorhead. And for the Lakers, Isaiah Vargas, also an 8th grader. So I know Nolan Gidding was kind of a late entrant in here for the Moorhead Spuds. And then Isaiah Vargas has been wrestling varsity, looks like, for most or the whole year, as he's 2-11 on the season. So great matchup here. Probably not one of those premier matchups when you look at the records, but it seems to me, Jason, whenever there's equality in the records, we end up with a good match on the mat. There's a shot by Vargas. He's in, and a nice sprawl out here happening by Gidding. So Gidding's already seeming like he's a little more comfortable on the mat than he was the very first match when he wrestled Johnny Ramos for the Yellow Jackets. So 0-0, 1 minute remaining.
Sorry to interrupt you, Lance, but if you look at and now there's a nice 2-point takedown. Every time we seem to step in, something happens.
That's perfect.
Just want to say, looking at this Lakers side, you can't see it on our monitor, but what they're doing, they're into the mat. The ones that aren't wrestling, the JV guys, they're up, they're into it, they're bringing the spirit, and that's what you're seeing. A lot of teams are finding new ways to bring energy in the COVID year, because it's kind of tough to pick up on that energy when the crowd is not as big, when you're only allowed 150 and you have to maintain that 150, and you got to think about that. You split that in half for the most part, and now into thirds in a way it is tonight for how many people you're allowed in. So applaud the Lakers early on, the way they're bringing the energy themselves in that way.
And I think part of it is probably the way of the wrestler a little bit, Jason. It seems like you almost have to have that inward readiness to be ready to wrestle. You know, we don't have the big, huge warm-up like you do in basketball. We're not taking infield like we were in baseball. You kind of see the wrestlers drift off by themselves a little bit. So getting ready is probably one of the things that they're used to doing. And I know from my son Leighton telling me, a lot of times when it was a big crowd, he tried to shut them out. So he just would be laser-like focused on the mat. So in some weird way, maybe it helps the wrestlers to be more focused.
And one unique thing about it, we've talked a little bit about the noise and whatnot, and you always see, and I think Apple and Samsung and all these other AirPod, iPod makers have made a lot of money just in the wrestling community.
That's right.
But a nice start in that period for the Lakers as they're trying to crawl back into this one. And it's now 2-0 in the teams, or in the individual scores as we head to the second period.
Yeah, Isaiah Vargas looking for his third win on the season, and I know Nolan Gidding was a kind of a last-minute replacement, maybe not last minute, but was a replacement here. And so nice job by both wrestlers trying to keep things going. So I think the next takedown is going to speak volumes to where this goes. And just as I say that, we got a nice double shot there by Nolan Gidding, but a heavy on the head and sprawling out, doing a nice job is Isaiah Vargas. And he goes, this one could be anybody's yet right here, but he's starting to sprawl out. Once he gets those hands off, pushes down heavy if he can grab an ankle. But nice job by Nolan Gidding to kind of spin with him. But this is tending to go the way of Isaiah Vargas here, and I wouldn't be surprised, there it is, to him to take the 2-point reversal. So 4-0. Looks like an arm's trapped in there. He's trying to pull it over, and Nolan Gidding does a great job to stay out of harm's way there. 40 seconds, about 35 seconds remaining now. 4-0 lead for Isaiah Vargas over Nolan Gidding from the Spuds.
And as I said before the first match, I want to thank the coach and staff, Rob Elliott, bringing us some good information on his squad. I'd like to give him a special thanks for that, helping our broadcast out with the information as well.
Exactly. When these coaches are doing a great job of promoting their sport of wrestling, and it sure is nice for us to be able to bring accurate information to you instead of stuff that we're trying to research during the week. So this will be the end of the second period. A 4-0 lead for Isaiah Vargas, and a really good match for both of these young men, which kind of makes me think Yellow Jackets coming up. You start to kind of play up the matchups in your head and where we're going to go. So if you're thinking the same way as I am, we start to look at these wrestlers not only in this match but for the match to come yet. So 4-0, just starting the third. Both wrestlers, the wrestlers choose the neutral position. Both up, so we'll see what happens here. I really thought the next takedown, which ended up being a reversal, was going to be key, and it ended up being Vargas getting that. So let's see if he builds on that, and it's kind of nice to have that 4-point cushion right now. There's another shot by Nolan Gidding, and I will say that Nolan Gidding has been getting to his shot. It's just the length of Vargas seems to get him trapped underneath, and here he goes trying to pin that leg over again, and he does, and gets the takedown. So 6-0 lead for Vargas. So nothing that Nolan Gidding isn't doing. He just isn't quite long enough, and when he shoots in on that shot, Vargas kind of sprawls out, uses his length, and then comes around the backside and he takes that 6-0 lead with about 50 seconds to go. So right now I would guess as this time winds down that Nolan Getting and the coaching staff from Moorhead are probably saying, you know what, keep it at 6 here. Let's make sure that we don't give up any bonus points and we still are in the lead 4-3 at the end of 113. Isaiah Vargas throws in an armbar there, as you can see, and Nolan Gettings kind of just bellying out, turning his head away, making sure that he doesn't give it up. But Vargas is going slow like he should, but 9 seconds remaining. He can't go too slow, trying to get some back points here. And it looks like the score, and it is, going to end up 6-0 for Isaiah Vargas. So Isaiah Vargas improves his record to 3-11 on the year. Our scoreboard goes to 4-3 in favor of the Spuds. So we head into 120 here for the Moorhead Spuds. We have a 9th grader, Lee Ellingberg, who was 4-5 coming in tonight. Was a wrestler last year for the Moorhead Spuds and had 11-21 record. And for the Lakers, it's going to be Leroy Lacrosse, a 10th grader. Current record is 5-7 on the season. So another one of those, Jason, that this might be a good toss-up match. And as we're 4-3 on the score clock, the more toss-up matches we have, the better this match is going to get.
I was going to say, I see a lot of tosses, but then you look later on in this lineup for the Lakers, you have a Tyson Elliott looming large, a Cade Jackson, a Brody Elliott, and then at 285, Andreas Barnett, some guys that have made some nice runs down at the state tournament for Detroit Lakes. So if you're Moorhead, we talked about it a lot early, you want to try to get on that little run early because you know the Lakers got the big guns coming up later.
Yeah, and I would say that this is kind of one of those spots, and it's going to be a fun one if it happens to see Tyson Elliott at 126 versus Evan Fankhandle, who looked really good against the first match, and that's going to be a good match. And then Arjim Shaheen came out with that big pin in a headlock, and so Moorhead's got a little bit of matchup, but you think a lot of those might favor the Lakers here as we get going. So I guess the best thing is to stay tuned in and see what happens.
And that's the one fun thing about this sport. I mean, we can go by matchups and pick it off, but you never know when it's high school kids what will end up happening and what can happen.
We're at the end of period number 1 here. 0-0 score, so kind of like we talked about, an even match, evenly matched wrestlers according to their records and what we have on our books, and it's kind of playing out that way. So DL's choice, DL defers, and Ellingberg takes the down position, trying to get that first point, which sometimes looms into overtime, the first point scored. So some good action off to the side of the mat. Again, if you're just joining us, we have JV action going on the yellow mat to the left of us. We're facing the right, and we have the varsity on, and solely the varsity happening tonight. So there's the escape. So 1-0 lead, a 1-0 lead for Lee Ellingberg. I agree with you, Jason. It's been kind of fun. The DL kids are kind of coaching each other. The coaches are coaching, it seems like everybody's kind of has somebody that they're trying to show something to, and they're using it not only as a dual meet, but as a practice as well. So good job for the Lakers there.
Well, the way this year is, it's totally different. You don't get as many matches. Yeah, you still have the practice time. You're not actually practicing as long as you normally would because that's cut short because of the late start. So opportunities to learn every chance you get here.
exactly. And you just make the most of each and every night, I think, is kind of what I've heard from the coaching staffs now, is the importance of good practices and good duels as we head towards the playoff type push.
Well, you always hear a lot of the coaches say the main goal in this time of year is to get better every day. Get better every day, so then you're at your best when the playoffs come around.
Ooh, nice double shot there. We're looking for the 2. Nice hold up, 2. Hand was down, so as soon as Ellingberg's hand went down, awarded the 2 to Leroy Lacrosse, and now he slips in a half, or got a potentially dangerous. I thought he was going after the armbar there, and he maybe did, but just a little too much in the armbar. So we're right at the end again. It seems more times than not, those last 10 seconds, we see some sort of action that really leads to points for one side or the other. So Leroy Lacrosse goes up 2-1 going into the third and chooses down, hoping to get that escape or reversal and expend that lead. So ride here by Ellingberg, and nice job. Nice mat return there. Looked like the initial stand-up was going to get him, and now we're giving up arms here, and Ellingberg is all of a sudden in a great position, which brings the wrestlers from Moorhead off of their seats, and this would be huge, and there's the fall. So again, bonus points in a neck-and-neck match that looked like it was going to be anybody's match, goes the way of the Spuds. And there they have already exceeded what they did last time. So 10-3 lead for them heading into 126. And I hope this is the match that we've been waiting for, and we'll see what happens here. And it is. We at 126, we have a 10th grader, Tyson Elliott. A 10th grader, currently 12-2, placed third in the section last year against Evan Fakehandle, who's number 10 in 3A. And we got serious action right off of the whistle here. And this is a fun one to watch already, Jason. And this is kind of what we were hoping for, as Fakehandle is rated 10th in 3A. And Elliott's definitely trying to crack that top 10 if he pulls off a win here, which he's ahead 2-0. He's got a good stretch on that arm. You wonder how long till potentially dangerous, and the ref beat me to it as that arm kind of straightened out, and that's not a fun spot to be in, which Jason and I talked about earlier in the night. With that, we have a blood timeout. We're trying to figure out where the blood came from. So Fakehandle is getting blood taken care of, maybe a little on the arm there, and I don't think this will be a too long a one here before we're right back in it. And Coach McEachran, John McEachran, comes out, longtime football coach for the Yellow Jackets and longtime blood man and wrestling coach for the Yellow Jacket, comes and takes care of it. Right on the whistle, a quick switch there by Fakehandle, which gets grabbed by Elliott. Elliott flattens him out, and I keep going because I get so excited. I keep walking over and forgetting I can look at the screen. So 2-4, a nice mat return there. So this is the kind of action that I've been waiting for, Jason, to see, and I'm really excited to see how it ends. And I still think, even though it's a 4-0 lead, this one could be anybody's, as we saw Fakehandle with some explosiveness, and there he goes looking for that reversal, and he got it, and he's getting back points. So if you're watching at home, I hope you're getting a good view of how hard these wrestlers are working, and they're really going at each other, and an escape, and how fitting would it be to go 5-5 after all that action heading into the second period. So I think this one is one of those toss-ups that's anybody, and I almost have to believe that it helps Fakehandle coming off that huge pin, as I see his energy is really up, and I know he's a physical wrestler.
Yeah, it definitely is, and this is a kind of a spot that he wants to be in after what happened in the Perham match. So here's an opportunity for him, and this big opportunity against Elliott to kind of, you don't want to say redemption, but might be a redemption type spot.
So we head into the second. Elliott's down. Fankhandle covers him up. I think he tried to put the boots in a couple times in the first match. So we'll see what kind of ride that he goes in. And just as I say that, he gets one side in. He gets one side into there. And now he's trying for the second side. And he's pulling him over. But no points awarded. It looked like a 1. Looked like a 1, and that's all the count that we had. There we have a stalemate, 1:18 remaining, 5-5. It looks like the wrestlers have settled in a little bit. We don't quite have that wildness to it, even though it was really a controlled wild. But I suppose just as I say that, we'll go back at it, and here we go. So escape for Elliott. Makes it 6-5.
I was going to make a prediction. I was going to say about 30 seconds. I think it's going to get crazy here in this match, and I think it's going to be late in both periods in the second, and probably late again in the third, I think. This almost has that overtime feel to it, to this type of match.
Elliott kind of backs off, and I'm not really sure there, but obviously illegal hold was called. So 6-6, illegal move. Fankhandle back in. Let's see if he swims his arm across, or nope, he's going to dump him and try to hook that ankle. He's going to try to get 2 here. Head's probably not in a great position right here. Kind of holding on to the waist, and there's our stalemate. So one thing Paul Beach has not let him do is sit too long in one position tonight, which is sometimes I think frustrating for the wrestlers, but great for those of us watching it. So we're going to head into the third, I believe, here with 5 seconds to go. We're going to head into the third, 6-6. So really a good match. It wasn't for a lack of shots. It wasn't for a lack of offense that they each scored 1. But it is it's 6-6 going into the third. Fankhandle takes down, does a quick little switch as Elliott tries to put the boots in. He switches and turns right into him and gets the reversal. So 8-6, and you kind of think this would be a huge one for Moorhead as they're gaining momentum as we go. So, and now we have an escape and a headlock, and that headlock is going to be a takedown and back points, and that headlock has been known to be dangerous, and we're looking for the fall point, and this would really change things up, as this was a great match that could end on a headlock, and there it is.
I was going to say, Lance, when Elliott fell behind, you just had the feeling he had something working when he was down, and he was able to get that reversal and then get the big pin. And we talked about the momentum swing for the Spuds. Now look at how big of a one this is for the Lakers.
Exactly. And you go down, and it would have been 13-3, and now it's 10-9. So, yeah, great match. It was fun to watch. So for the Lakers, we have a senior in Carson Wold. Carson Wold this year is currently 7-5. Last year, he was 22-8. So probably seen some tough customers along the way. It seems like that 32, 26, 38 has been a tough weight class this year. And for the Spuds, we have a Jiram Shaheem, and he threw that headlock in the first one, and he is pumped up, Jason. He comes right back out and works a little bit here, and he's right back to the center. And I think his quickness is what's got both of these guys. Is you're just kind of not expecting what he's going to do. But Shaheen is 10-2 on the season, and
he definitely likes to get low and get that low vertical base.
He's really aggressive. One of the things that I don't know if you can see it, but just he wants to be physical, and he's kind of imposing his will on the physicality. So we'll see. Wold is a very experienced wrestler. We'll see what happens. But there's a takedown. And just the explosiveness of Shaheen has been fun to watch here in both of these matches, Jason. So Wold comes on a little switch, and he gets his escape. So 2-1, minute in, 2-1. We've seen all kinds of flurries of offense. I think Carson Wold is probably kind of wondering where the next one is, and a real different style of wrestling there for Shaheen, as has been on one knee for most of the period, and kind of gets that forehead right into your forehead and says, mano a mano, let's go.
That's what I'm saying. I was kind of surprised to see it, and Shaheen really wants to be down on that one knee and he likes to get low, and he's been getting lower than Wold early.
And here he goes back to that position, and he's looked for that far ankle pick a little bit in that position. And Wold says, one way I can get that is tie up your hand. So 15 seconds remaining, 2-1 Shaheen, and he's impressive, and he little power drag, but there's a throw, and 4 seconds remaining. He's locking up Wold, and then Wold spins around and gets the escape at the very end. So flurry upon flurry, and great job by these wrestlers, and it's 6-2. And Shaheen says it didn't faze him with the escape. So,
and I was kind of starting to wonder if he was getting a little tired a little bit. He took a look at the clock in the corner of the gym, one of the many scoreboards here that we have at the Hive, and he made his well-timed move.
Optional start there for Shaheen, and he just lets him up, and there's a lot of hands to the face there, which I wouldn't be surprised if the Detroit Lakes coaching staff will make a note in Beach's ear that maybe not so much pushing on the head. We'll see how it goes, and once that happens, he settles in a little bit. But 6-3 with a big throw, kind of a high flyer here. So don't go to the fridge right now, whatever you do. So Paul Beach says they're both off the mat, which brings the ire of the DL crowd. They wanted the takedown.
I was just going to say, and that whistle was plain as day, and it was well before that, that they're off the mat. Like you said, the Laker faithful is starting to definitely get into it and kind of follow the lead of their wrestlers on the mat with the energy that they're bringing here.
Well, I think Shaheen's style a little bit maybe is playing to that as well. Just his excitement and his physicalness maybe is playing a little bit to getting the DL crowd into it a little more than maybe they would have on a normal 6-3 match. So good job from Shaheen. Let's see if he can hold that for all three periods, as physical as he's been wrestling. Wold with a nice deep shot there, and I'm not so sure we wouldn't have saw Shaheen spin around on that one in the first period, and now he just kind of fends him off. So let's see how that stamina and all the energy that he's exerted happens for the last 30 seconds of this one, and then the third period as well. So 6-3 lead Shaheen.
Well, Lance, it's going to be interesting to see when Shaheen has to go to the well, if it's there for him in that third period.
I think Wold's kind of not gotten used to, but is ready now for his quickness. It seems like Wold's his feet are moving a little bit faster, and he's able to do some of his stuff. So here we're in a position with 2 seconds remaining to see if we get a takedown. And I think if he would have got his hand down on the mat, we would have had that takedown. So Shaheen's choice, he says both up, so maybe some fireworks in the midst.
I think Wold was kind of trying to buy his time there, let Shaheen kind of do a lot of the work if they're up there, as Shaheen was kind of pushing the issue. We'll see if Wold now goes on the aggression here in this third period.
Shaheen's still trying those throws. He wants to get into those double unders, and he's making Wold press into him. And as soon as he does, we're seeing Shaheen kind of get Wold uncomfortable again. And we have 6-3 yet with 1:30 to go here.
I'd say I'm a big fan of watching the way that Shaheen is wrestling. He's exciting. It just brings a lot of energy to the mat.
I'm guessing this doesn't end up 6-3. Just a guess.
I think that's a safe one. That might be, I'm guessing, one of the safer calls we've made all season.
Here we are. Shaheen's trying to drive. I would say it's almost close to a stall, Jason, as Wold's kind of backing off the mat. But just as I say that, he's circling and kind of doing the pushing himself. So, there's a nice, and then Shaheen throws again and gets the takedown and some back points, and they're off the mat. So I see some big fat heads of Shaheen. And down, so he's definitely a crowd favorite too for the Spuds. So he lets them back up 10-4, so he's going for the bonus points.
Well, the way he wrestles, how could he not be a crowd favorite? Just brings the energy right away. We saw that in the match with Perham. We're seeing it here with the match with Wold right now in this third period.
Well, and he's obviously done this all year, Jason, as he's now 10-2, looking to be 11-2 on the season. And I certainly wouldn't want to face him section time.
And I made that comment in the second period about him going to the well. He's definitely showing that he has no problem going to the well and has the endurance to maintain this style and this energy for all three periods.
And he's kind of looking at the official like, what is Wold doing here? He's tying up with me. So Wold steps in, gets that single, but there's 8 seconds remaining. Shaheen would like to get this takedown. This takedown would make it a major decision, but it doesn't look like it's happening. So a 10-4 decision for Shaheen. What a good match. That was fun to watch. Wold knew he was in a battle, and that was a fun one to watch. I hope you enjoyed that one at home. And I'm glad that Magnitude Sports, we can bring that to you. Now we're going to head into probably the heart of the order here, coming up here for the Lakers. So Bradley Swears coming out at 138 for the Lakers. Bradley was 19-14 last year, finished 4th in the section. This year he's 12-2, and on cue he gets the takedown, and he has Will Barud, who is 1-11 on the season, and he is an 8th grader. So definitely matchup favor of Swears here, and he's looking like he doesn't want it to last too long and kind of bring that momentum back to the Lakers.
Well, I was just going to say, you mentioned this lineup coming up for the Lakers. We have Bradley Swears here getting the pin there for the Lakers. You follow that up with Cade Jackson, Brody Elliott. You have some points coming up if you're a Laker fan, or in your mind.
Yep, in your mind you do, and I would say this is the meat of their order, and this is where it'll be interesting when we hit that Yellow Jacket Laker one, because a little bit of that order for the Yellow Jackets in the same place. But 15-13 lead now in favor of the Lakers. In 145, we have Zach Fankill, 3-8 for the Moorhead Spuds. He is a 9th grader, and we have Cade Jackson for the Lakers, who is a sophomore, 28-19 last year, with the 28-19 record. Kind of got hot at the right time and ended up 4th in the state. So his current record's 13-1, and is currently rated 6th. And this is where they want to make some hay, and it looks like he is going to try to do that quickly. So back-to-back quick pins all of a sudden. Like we said, Jason, bonus points really spreads this out in a hurry, and Cade Jackson's got this is not a spot I would want to be in.
I'll give Barud credit. He's been battling, trying to get out of it, but like you said, when you're facing Cade Jackson, it's going to be a tough spot to get out of it. Barud is working hard and trying hard to keep those shoulders off the mat, but I think he just doesn't have the power.
And I would guess it's coming soon, as Jackson now got the head. He's kind of lifting the shoulders, and he's got this tight. There's still 50 seconds remaining, so Nice fight here. I think we're on to a Finkhandle here, Jason, at 45. So this is Zach Finkhandle for, and there's the pin. Either way, there's the pin. So again, like we talked about, big runs with bonus points sure make a difference on the scoreboard, making it 21-13 in favor of the Lakers. We head into 152, and we're going to have A.J. Demo for his 0-3 in the season. And the Lakers will bring out Brody Elliott, number 3. He was 43-6 last year, section champ, state runner-up. He is currently 13-1 on the season. He placed second in the state last year and rated third at 152. So poor Mr. A.J. Demo gets number 2 rated in the state, Jack Fudge, in the first match, and number 3 rated in the second match, as he is now wrestling Brody Elliott.
And that might be a fun one if that happens later tonight when Perham and DL go off. As a potential preview, which should be a fun match if the flip and everything works out that way.
Yep, that's for sure. And again, it not only would have some barring on this match coming up here, but might also, depending on where they end up in individual sections and seedings for that. Good job by A.J. Demo to kind of stay out of harm's way. He kind of had that knack in the first one with Jack, and then it seemed like that enough was enough. But nice single going in there for A.J. Demo. So minute gone here in this first period, and just as we got that restart, here goes Brody Elliott into a single leg, takes him down, kind of has it back into that arm bar, maybe power half. I'm kind of blocked here. I guess I should look at my screen instead, but I just like watching live wrestling. So forgive me if I missed something, but good job by A.J. Demo to belly out in that situation and keep the score at 2-0 with 26 seconds to go. So looks like they're about off the mat with about 15 seconds, but they're still wrestling, and we'll get a restart with 11 seconds to go here in period number 1. A period that A.J. Demo is doing a nice job, only trailing 2-0. And with that, we've got a blood timeout.
Once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors that continue to make these broadcasts happen here on Magnitude Sports, United Community Bank, the Perham Dent and Frazee, as well as EOT Insurance. I'd like to thank you guys for your support here and Perham Activities Department and the Perham Schools for helping us and allowing us to bring this broadcast into your home tonight here on the Magnitude Sports Network as we get ready back to action here late in the first period.
So 2-0 score. Demo goes down after the blood timeout. Elliott covers him up, and it looks like we're going to go in probably 2-0 into the second period. So great job by A.J. Demo coming out here and kind of holding his own, so to speak. He defers. Elliott goes down. So Elliott will go down to start the second with a 2-0 lead, and here we go.
It's kind of unique. The vibe in the gym has definitely seemed to change a little bit now, where it seems like, the Lakers kind of have that feeling they know they're favored in these spots, so the energy is a little bit different than where it was earlier.
I think everybody's trying to catch their breath from that Shaheen match. I know I am.
I'm trying to help you a little bit here.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. And if those of you at home hear Jason laughing once in a while, I've got a screen that shows me the what's going on, and I got a camera and about 3 waters, and I'm trying to look through the bar to watch the action live, and he giggles every once in a while and tells me, "Get back and look at the screen." So Elliott has a 3-point move there, makes it 5-0. He escaped 5-1 as Coach Elliott would like to see a little more action out of Brody. So Brody right in on the single, takes the 2. So now we're gonna play the takedown game again. So probably a compliment to AJ Demo there, that a lot of times probably Brody would just take somebody to his back, but gets the double, sets him down nicely. 2 more, makes it 9-2. 40 seconds remaining in the second period. 9-2. So 1 more, they say. So coaching staff from the Lakers said, you got plenty of time. Let's get at least 1 more. So escape makes it 9-3. Another takedown makes it 11-3. And I'm taking by Coach Elliott sitting down means that we're going to try to either turn him here. We got our 11-3 major decision, or we're going to just kind of ride out this period and go back to work in the third and try for that tech fall or pin.
Well, I have to give you full disclosure, Lance. I kind of do the same thing every once in a while. When you look through this bar, we got monitors galore and looking through.
There's something when something happens and the crowd's into it that I just feel like I have to look at it live. So down for AJ Demo, he chooses down. Elliott lets him up. 11-4, that wipes away the major decision for just a little bit of time, I would guess. Looks like Elliott's kind of trying to size him up here a little bit. He kind of went at will there for a little while, and now Demo maybe playing a little more defensive game, trying to hold him out of that big decision here. But nice shot there into a single. Dumps him to his one of these times I think he's going to catch him on his back, because he's kind of got that dump off of that single, and it's kind of the way that hip teeters is which way he's going to go here, whether he's going to give up back points or not. So 13-4 score, and we're looking for some back points maybe. I'm kind of surprised they didn't stay with the Cuttingham game and try to get that tech fall.
Could be one of those moments want to see him work in different things and work on his game here when he's got his opponent down like this, and try to work and get into that pin.
Yep. He had the arm trap behind the back, and Demo somehow got that out of there. So great fight by AJ Demo here, staying off of his back and not giving in to what the Lakers wanted him to do. And I'm guessing if it sticks to 4 points, a 4-point decision here and a major, this is a win for the Moorhead Spuds going into this against the number 3 ranked kid in 2A. But just as I say that, 20 seconds left, and there's the fall. So how close we were, but not close enough. So again, we see that separation happen just when we thought it might, and we'll head into 160, where Hakan Peterson, I believe, will come out for the Moorhead Spuds. He is a senior, 3-5, and he did not wrestle in the first one as he got a forfeit to him. So Hakan Peterson and Garrett Nelson for the Lakers. So Garrett Nelson comes out. He's a senior, 11-3 record. 11-3 record this year, and just kind of interesting on Garrett Nelson. Last year was injured for the whole season, came back at section time, went 3-0 in the sections for the Lakers for team. Didn't even want to do the individual, just came back for the team. Kind of, you could feel that elevated their team a little bit, maybe filled a little gap where they were not quite where they should be, and led them into that third place finish last year. So I'm sure they're glad, really glad to have him back for this year. It's good to see Hakan Peterson. We didn't get to see him in the first one. There's a single, and it looks a lot of the same over and over for the Lakers. So if we're watching this, you kind of see what they want to do, how they want to work it, and a 2-point takedown for Nelson. off the mat. 54 seconds to go, and you would think that this is a place that they want to continue to make some hay if you're the Lakers, and continue to spread that apart as the scoreboard apart here as they're pretty stacked up here in these middle weights. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I know they have Blaine Henderson coming up at 82, was 38-7 last year. So they're not done with, and then as you called, Jason, at 285, Andreas Barnett coming in.
It's almost like we talked about with that Minnewaska match, where if you're the Lakers, you're kind of expecting to be at certain points where you have guaranteed at least bonus points in certain spots, that you're forcing the opponents and the opposition to have to work to overcome those points in those spots and pick up bonus points themselves.
There was a tilt there by Nelson, ended up spinning all the way through, and Coach Elliott's going to say, hey, keep that action up. We want to see you do that, but there's only 1 second remaining, and so Nelson will take a 2-0 lead into period number 2. 27-13, if you're listening and not watching here at the moment. It's 27-13 on the score clock in favor of the Lakers, and good matches early, kind of what we thought might happen. Not that it was a prediction by us by any means, but really thought that this was the place from Tyson Elliott to Wald, which ended up going the way of the Spuds, to Swears, to Jackson, to Elliott again, to Nelson, to Blaine Henderson, on down the line, that this was a good spot for the Lakers. That's a pretty excellent trail there that you got to witness all the way, almost circled the mat, and they ended up off the mat before the takedown could happen. Looking for some blood, and no blood, so we go back to the center with 1:38 remaining. Nelson doing a good job there of just trailing Håkon Peterson, and pretty strong individuals here, Jason, as neither one of them is really wanting to give up anything, and they're doing a nice job of wrestling each other here. See if Nelson tries to get into that tilt again. Kind of a cheap tilt, pulling it over the top of him, but now goes more into the ball and chain type series. So interesting to see how he's switching up his tactics as Peterson's taking some things away. So again, it's interesting. For a while, it was Moorhead who wanted the stall call, as Detroit Lakes was kind of flat on the mat. And now it's kind of switched turns as we're looking a little bit. And there he flips him over. Back is pretty tight, and there's the fall. So great match, 2-0. There's 50 seconds left in the second period, and ends up into a fall for Garrett Nelson. So Garrett Nelson looks like he picked up right where he left off last year and being a spark for the Lakers.
You could just see his persistence as it was just paying off in that match and wearing Peterson down and kind of setting up another victory for the Lakers as they're starting to pick up that momentum on their side.
33-13 on our score clock, going into 170, and this is Jack.
Oops, sorry.
You go ahead. I was going to go. I'll go with Moorhead first, and then you go with Detroit Lakes. Well, hey, we'll be just like a choir here. It's Jack Newcomb, a senior, 6-4. Looked pretty good in his first one, beating Hudson Hackle. So 7-4 now for the Spuds.
And he's going to get Thad Schlotterhoff. 16-30 last year, finished 6th in the sections. Definitely improving on that record this year.
For sure. He is currently 9-4, and like I said, plays 5th in the section. I kind of like that tag team work there, Jason. We might have to do that more often. I would say this is going to be an interesting match. Watching Jack Newcomb, he seems really, really strong, and I'm curious to see how Schlotterhoff comes out here, and if he is able to match that strength and maybe make up. I know he's had a lot of matches in his DL career, so maybe those type of things are going to pay off. But I'm almost thinking must win here for the Spuds. If it's not a win here, it gets tough again as you go against Blaine Henderson at 182.
Yeah, I really think this is going to be a good one for Newcomb, but just as I was getting ready to say that, Schlotterhoff gets his 2, and he just a powerful wrestler. Both these guys just powerful.
2, but I think we're going to get some, well, maybe not. Nice job by Schlotterhoff. I thought for sure, but now Newcomb's in on the leg, but Schlotterhoff keeps coming around. So some good balance and some good hips there by Schlotterhoff. Probably took away that reversal right there, and what gets us into a stalemate.
It's always unique to watch head coach Rob Elliott of Detroit Lakes, very animated, and I'm just always up at moments, back to the chair, up again, back to the chair, but very animated leader of the Lakers, been there for a while, has done a nice job with this program.
That is correct. He has he's had this program, they've been formidable for many, many years, and again, you look over and they've got a whole bunch of JVers over there wrestling away, and so it's all good. So there's the end of the first period. We're on to the second, 2-0 in favor of Thad Schlotterhoff, and this is kind of the match we thought it was going to be. So let's see what happens here. I expect Jack Newcomb to come out with some sort of move here to try to maybe, there it is, the cradle locked up. Let's see if Thad can defend this. This cradle is, there it is. That's what we almost saw what happened with Hudson Hackle, and there we go. Thad takes him over, reversal for 2, back points. He's got him pretty tight here. Nice job by Newcomb to pull himself out of that, but we're going to get back points, I believe, and there's the reversal. So takedown, back points, and now we should have a reversal. So 6-2 in favor of Schlotterhoff, but now Newcomb kind of driving the bus here.
I was going to say, it looked like Schlotterhoff was just too strong for that move, and I think Newcomb may have underestimated, and he's going to find himself in a tough spot again here,
It looks like it's going to happen. Schlotterhoff is just really, this has got to be 2 and back points. There we go. Ooh, that is almost WWE-ish there, Jason. I know you're not a fan, but I like to watch it once in a while.
It's more like the AEW style now.
Oh, okay. And this just goes back and forth here, ladies and gentlemen. So it's faster than I can even call it this evening, but it's 10-5 in favor of Schlotterhoff. And every time I think I would probably, I'm not saying I'm the smartest bulb in the closet, but I'd probably stop trying to do the cradle on Mr. Schlotterhoff at this point.
I would have thought Newcomb would have learned that after the first time, but he tried to go right back to it the second time, and now he gets 2 points there. Now it's 11-7, but that I would have thought the first time. But you know what? There's something about knowing your own strength and thinking you can do it, and they're having the confidence. But Schlotterhoff saying, hey, look, let's go, buddy.
12 seconds remaining here, and 11-7, and let's see if we get back points or a quick escape here somewhere. And Schlotterhoff, there he goes, and I think he's got 1 for sure. He's looking for 2 if he can run him on the mat. And then just as I say that, Newcomb grabs him, but that's 2 at the very last second. There's 2 more. So 13-7. And I'm not making a prediction in this one, Jason, because I think this one's anybody's ball game yet.
Well, I'll make a quick prediction. It's going to be Captain Obvious style prediction. We're going to have 2 minutes of fireworks here.
I agree with you. We can't go wrong on that one. And there, you say it, we've got spins going, and I wasn't sure what this match was going to bring, and now I kind of want to watch it again. And speaking of that, you probably can.
Yes, you could stream us again on Search Magnitude Sports, where these are on YouTube, and also visit mssportsnet.com and get a copy of this if you'd like to buy the DVD. But this is kind of what we expected. 2 powerhouses going at it right here at 170.
There's the escape, which makes it 13-8. So now if you look, 2-point takedown, 3.3 near fall points, and we're tied again. So if somebody doesn't get pinned. There's two more. There's two more for Schlotterhoff, and I'm going to say, Jason, I've watched Schlotterhoff. This is one of the best that I've seen him wrestle. He's really looking good. He's confident. He's really wrestling with the purpose here. So great job by Thad Schlotterhoff here as he's working it. There's 45 seconds to go. He's got the arm bar in. I can't quite tell if he's got the double in or not. Newcomb's trying to just back his way out of it, which kind of makes you release because you get in that potentially dangerous position. But there's a little spin by Newcomb, and he's out, making it 15-9. Quick reshot with 25 seconds to go, and off the mat they go. And sometimes the mat's just not big enough to hold them when they're really moving like that. So 23 seconds remaining, 15-9, Schlotterhoff, and Newcomb's going to probably be going for some sort of big throw here. He's going to need more. There's a 2-point takedown. I would guess he'll let him up. So 15-11, Schlotterhoff just doesn't let him up. He catch cradles him with 3, 2, 1, and the same thing was going to happen again, Jason.
He was trying to set up because he realized in the clock he couldn't get what he needed to do, and he was trying to get that cradle in for last-second desperation, but nice job by Schlotterhoff.
And Schlotterhoff's coming off looking like he's not very happy. I hope he knows how much he's entertained all of us tonight. So, again, 36-13 on our score clock, and this is kind of where we thought we would see that separation, and we are. And here we go into 182 with another one of the Lakers. Oh, we got a little switch up here. So Cale Abraham comes in for the Lakers. He's a 10th grader, current record of 1-2. He's going to wrestle Ashton Larry. Ashton Larry's 4-5 and a junior. And here goes Abraham in on a takedown. So I can see kind of what they're doing here. Maybe a little bit more experienced wrestler at 195. They move Henderson to that spot and get him a good match here going into the middle of the season. So Detroit Lakes kind of making some moves, and that veteran coaching staff that you'd said, Jason, working on some things. So again, armbar, Cale should try to get him forward, but as he does, there's an escape, and I believe Ashton Larry with the escape there makes it 2-1. So good start to the match when you're in the first minute and you have some good action. It's always fun to see, especially when you get to these upper weights. Right on the corner of the mat here, Abraham tries another takedown, and Ashton Larry snaps him down and tries to go behind, but they were both off the mat. Close to a 2-point takedown here for Abraham, but nothing yet. I would say it's there. There it is. There's the takedown. I wasn't quite sure. He kind of pointed like he was going to give it, then nothing from him. So Paul Beach fooling me tonight, I guess. 5 seconds remaining. Abraham up 4-1, looking for some back points, but we're going to go into period number 2.
I'd like to say a nice job again by the officials. Thank them coming out and continuing during this COVID year. A lot of pressure on them as well. Not as many officials as there have been in the past because of that, but I'd like to thank them for making the effort tonight and throughout the season in every sport. And
yeah, we are really blessed in this part of Minnesota to have the officiating crews that we have for basketball and wrestling, and you could tell they all have one reason to be here, and it's about the kids, and that's all you can ask for. And as we speak, there looked like there was some back points there as we have the arm bar. Larry's kind of throwing that arm up, but Abraham takes it and rolls him over here. And we're getting some more back points. Let's see what we end up with. If he's holding 3 down there, I couldn't quite tell. Now we're getting the recount, and it looks like this is not a fun position for Ashton Larry, and there's a minute 20 left, folks.
You can just see, I know you can't zoom in like we have, but you can see the anguish and pain on his face.
Exactly. So 2-point near fall makes it 7-1, but he comes out of harm's way for just a little bit, but then Abraham puts him right back in there, and this one it's tight. And give him credit, he's kind of contorting his body to get out of this spot, and he's one strong young man under there, Ashton Larry. So 3 is on, and here he comes. 3 is on the table, and he's going to end up with a reversal. Looking for that front head. He should at least, this is nice job by Abraham. Didn't give up a thing and puts him right to his back. So in a panic mode for a young wrestler, that could have been it. And he did a great job there, Kale did, of not giving up anymore. So 10 seconds remain. We'll head into the third period. It's 10-1 right now, and Abraham over Larry.
And a victory here for Detroit Lakes, but according to my math, I think would seal this up going for the team score.
You got to give Moorhead a lot of credit, though. There's a lot of fight in these kids, and they don't give up even when it almost seems like insurmountable odds. They just continue to work hard. So Abraham takes down.
Well, Mr. Larry had many opportunities to it looked like just give up and just call it a day, and he's done a good job in battling, continuing to battle. And hats off to him for continuing this fight.
Right, there's a clasp, which is illegal. It means there's no arm in between, and you're holding on to your opponent to keep him down. So he said clasp. I didn't see it on the scoreboard, but I believe it should be 11-1, but maybe I'm wrong. I thought he called clasp there. Must have missed it. Nice ride by Larry here in the third period. We're 30 seconds in, 10-1 score as we speak, and looks maybe a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what Cale Abraham does here, as looks like he might be a little winded, Jason, and sometimes that when he's 1-2 coming in on the season, sometimes that plays a part. But just as I speak that, he powers up and is out, and it's 11-1. So 11-1 score in that major decision. About 1:15 to go, and he's right back in on the single shot. Larry kind of tries to sprawl him out, but he stays a little too compact, and Abraham takes him down. So just as I'm worried about wind, I think he heard me, and he says, here's another takedown for you. So 13-1, 12-point lead, 3 more back points, and that's all she wrote, folks. But let's see if they try to do the cut game or they try to take Larry to his back. 35 seconds remaining. It looks like Ashton Larry's real comfortable just staying down. Paul Beach is getting a good look at that arm bar, and there's the pin. So Cale Abraham, with 23 seconds left in the period, comes up with a big fall for the Lakers and spreads that scoreboard out even further. And we're heading into now the Lakers have one of their mainstays coming out, I would guess. 42-13 on the scoreboard. And that's exactly what they did at 195. The Spuds are bringing out Jackson Goda. Jackson Goda lost in the first match tonight to Gordon Enyart. So he's 6-2 on the season, was 4th in sections last year. And he will be wrestling Blaine Henderson. So Blaine Henderson bumps up a weight here. He's a 12th grader, currently is 14-0 on the season, was a state entrant last year, and was 38-7 on last year's season. So lots of matches for Blaine Henderson.
And a familiar name to Laker fans, and you just expect him to come through in this type of situation where he's been there before, and this Lakers squad now has a lot of that experience, a lot of veteran experience on this team.
Well, we looked at potential matchups. 182, if Blaine Henderson weighed in at 182, we could have a Blaine Henderson Brian Ramos matchup as well. I know we talked about Brody Elliott, Jack Fudge. There could be a real treat, and we'll see how things balance out and what happens there. But Blaine Henderson with the takedown, 30 seconds remaining, up 2-0.
This Lakers squad, I would say they look very tenacious and calculated at the same time. If you can have that type of thing, it's just the way they are, and they're outstanding team to watch right now and putting on a nice show against this Detroit Lakes team, or against this Moorhead team.
Very deliberate in what they're doing, and after some early kind of excitement for the Moorhead Spuds at 106, and then watching Shaheen wrestle, it's kind of really slowed down, and the Lakers just kind of settled it back in and said, this is going to be ours now.
And you kind of, to me, it's gotten that feel. That's kind of like how Moorhead was also known it was going to go. They seem to be more just sitting there in their chairs going through the motion. You see Shaheen cheering on his teammates to the right, just on the outside of our monitor, but you can just see like that energy level is not the same as it was, as it was earlier in the day.
Exactly, and you kind of wonder if the prior meeting at the right away when it was 59-9 kind of took a little bit of the wind out of the sails for the Spuds. But give credit to the Lakers that they're one nice team. You're not rated 11 in the state for no reason.
And they were ranked higher earlier in the season, but they took those couple of losses to two very good teams. So this is a Section 8 AA that's going to be a fun run towards the end.
It is going to be. There's a reversal by Henderson. He's getting back points. I know it. For some of you, it may look like he's in the bad spot. He's actually in the driver's seat right here, kind of pushing Goda's shoulders down. Now kind of rearranges, so he should get his 3 points here, and he does. And now he's looking for another move. So you can see, like you said, Jason, they're really calculated on what they do. They don't get themselves out of position very often. And some of the same moves are the go-to moves for a lot of their good wrestlers. So you know that it's practice when it's that way. So 7-0, 58 seconds remaining. And looks like Blaine Henderson's looking for more right now. Kind of a side catch cradle, hit in the head and the shoulders, maybe trying to drive him over a little bit. Goda's holding on to the hands a little bit, so that kind of makes him release that one. So 30 seconds remaining. See what happens here. A good job by Goda. Goda's 6-2 on the season, with 6-1 coming in tonight. So definitely is one of the more established wrestlers for the Spuds up top.
Ooh, we could see, I think we've seen a few other wrestlers get caught on that move, and quickly Henderson changed his mind when he realized that he wasn't going to get him over on the cradle.
Yeah, it seems like the cradle's been a real dangerous spot for a lot of wrestlers from a lot of different teams in this early part of the season.
And it's funny, we keep saying early, but we're almost 3/4 of the way through, it seems like.
I know. It just seems like it's early, but it's not. Minute 50 to go here, 7-0 for Henderson, and both guys are working, but it's just kind of hit that pacing of, you're waiting for one person to throw in a big move, so you kind of get that vibe back from the crowd and from the kids, and it hasn't quite happened yet.
Well, we have a quick moment. I really enjoy the format that we have been having with this year with the 3 duels in a night. We get to see different teams. I know this is a team, as Henderson gets a takedown there, we would normally see these two teams readily during the year, but not on the same night and not like this. And I really enjoy the way it's set up this year.
Yeah, these triangulars, it's been kind of fun. I think I'm fairly new to the sport of wrestling, but been around enough. But I think this is kind of the way it used to be, and then it switched to more matches, all-day tournaments, Friday, Saturday. One of the things I think, for the kids' sake, I think they give their bodies a little time to rest instead of going all day Friday, all day Saturday, Sunday, and you're back in the room on Monday. Now they're getting their time to kind of recoup, heal, watch their weight, keep their weight in check, and those. So I talked to you about that, and I look up and it's 11-1. So Blaine Henderson on the move here to a major decision, if not more, against a very formidable Jackson Goda. So Blaine's still looking for more, kind of got the side in the head, trying to turn him over. Goda's doing everything he can to not go, but he's kind of on that tilting point there of heading over, and as he grabs the leg, I think we're going to start to see a count. There's only 10 seconds remaining, though. Stacking him up pretty good here. Let's see if he can get the fall in the final 5 seconds, and there it is. So right down to the wire, and he gets the fall, which pushes our score to 48-13, and that run continues for the Lakers. We will head into 2:20. Both wrestlers coming out to the mat here at 2:20. I believe it's okay. So for the Spuds, we'll have Jack Creelis. He is 0-4 and 0-5 now as we're going on the season. He is wrestling at 220 a sophomore, Jeffrey Moan. And Jeffrey Moan is 8-6 on the season. And so I have not seen Jeffrey Moan wrestle yet this year or in the past, so this is someone new for me, Jason. We've got a pretty good JV match. If you hear all the screaming and you're wondering, man, they're just walking around the center circle, we're close to a fall over on the JV mat, and that kind of brought some of the crowd to a stand up there for a little bit, as it's a nice view here. We can see both of them, and so can the fans. So here we go. Jeffrey Moan with the 2-point, kind of doing the same thing that we saw from Blaine Henderson, and then he gives up on it, but now he kind of goes to a crossface, flattens him out, takes a 2-0 lead, goes into that power half, looking to slide his hips and turn him, and it looks like as soon as that arm clears underneath, and there it goes, we're going to be pretty flat here. We'll see if Jeffrey Moan with 20 seconds remaining gets up on his toes here a little bit, and there he did, and there's the fall. So, man, that run is a big gap here, Jason. Just when we thought, 59-9 to start, it's going to be a lot closer than that the way it started, and here we are at 54-13 with Andreas Barnett coming up, who's rated 5 in the state of Minnesota. Was a section runner-up last year. Currently rated, I have him at 5. Jaden Coley is 2-7 on the season at 285. He's a senior for the Spuds. And Andreas Barnett, who is kind of the big stopper at the end, is kind of one of those that we talked about, Jason. It sure is nice when you have that.
And when you're the way this Laker team is lined up right now, Barnett's more, I don't know, stopper. You might say closer. He's just the one that's going to seal the deal for
better
your team.
Choice of words for sure.
And this team has so many of them. You look at this Laker lineup and the way they're wrestling.
Yeah, they really and they put on a nice show here tonight. You know, all of the kids that we expected to see from the Lakers. The one that's probably the exception was Carson Wold, but if I had to pick a wrestler of the night probably so far, it'd be Shaheen from Moorhead, as he took Gareth Covington and put him in a headlock and pinned him right away, and then comes back and beats Carson Wold, who is no slouch for the Lakers. So 2-0 for him, and seemed like someone on the Spuds that they can build around, because he certainly came with some fire.
Well, his energy right away, and I think that may have surprised Gareth in his match, as you don't expect Shaheen to come out the way he did, and full of energy in both matches, and been outstanding as Barnett gets his takedown here and has that 2-0 lead.
Right, so we're right kind of back where they were to start the season, Jason. So you wonder when you see more towards the end, the latter stages, if we would have saw something different, and it's kind of pretty much the same. So Lakers staying consistent. Like you said, they had a couple bumps along the road there. We could talk about those more as we hit the Perham match, but definitely look like they're heading into the tournament stages of this year feeling pretty good about themselves.
Well, just building, as we talked about. They're just building the foundation for what they're hoping to be is two straight section champs.
And
as now Barnett
pin.
with the pin.
Yeah, right so there's a pin in less than 5 seconds and a pin with less than a second left, and runs that score to 60-13. So again, we kind of recapped there a little bit that it was 59-9 in the first one, and now 60-13 for the Lakers over the Spuds. And I think the Jackets are going to have their work cut out for them tonight. But that's what makes wrestling fun, is matchups can make a whole world's difference on what the outcome looks like.
As we've said in a lot of broadcasts, as I heard throughout my years covering wrestling for the local newspaper, former head coach Rob Moser, bonus points, think they're going to play a big role in this next match.
Exactly, and obviously we've already highlighted some. We will do it again in the pregame, but there could be some potential state place winning type matches coming up here in tonight, and that's really what you look for. So we'll probably come back here in a few minutes and wrap this one up, Jason, and then we'll be starting a new stream and checking out the Lakers and the Jackets. So come back, listen to the post-game matchup, and then certainly find us again, and we'll be ready to call that next match coming up.
Hi everybody, my name's Andy Eckhoff, Business Development Manager at United Community Bank. We're a one-stop shop and our experienced staff is here to help you in any way we can. I want you to know that when you bank at United Community Bank, you have a whole team behind you, and our team wants to know your goals and how we can help you get there. We're the #1 commercial lender in the Lakes area. Come see us at United Community Bank, where the future is bright.
Well, welcome back to the Hive. The Lakers with the big victory tonight over Moorhead, 60-13, as we get ready to wrap this one up and get set up for Perham and the Lakers coming up here at the Hive. And Lance, just a workmanlike performance from this Detroit Lakes team tonight.
Yeah, it really was. It's kind of like they knew what they had to do, and they just kind of took the lunch pail approach to it, as they everybody kind of did their part to it. But if you're Moorhead, there's some bright spots. I think they wrestled the Perham really tough and was probably a closer match than I thought it was going to be. And if you want to go watch someone who's going to probably bring a smile to your face, go watch Mr. Shaheen every night wrestle, because that guy was full of energy. He has some skill, and he's definitely strong and quick. So probably my wrestler so far of the night would be him, which seems odd coming from the team that's 0-2, but was a lot of fun to watch.
I have to agree with you on that one, but the Lakers are going to have some arguments with some of their guys that they have coming up, and it's going to be an exciting setup here when we have the Yellow Jackets and the Lakers coming up here in just a little bit. We're going to restart a new stream and have that ready for you here in just a little bit. Make sure to tune in, search Magnitude Sports. We'll be live shortly with a new stream. For Lance Rock, I'm Jason Groth. Lakers win this one by a score of 60-13. We'll be back in just a little bit. Thank you for watching on Magnitude Sports.
The proceeding has been a presentation of the Magnitude Sports Media Network. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to order a DVD copy of this broadcast, simply visit msportsnet.com/DVD.
Well, welcome back to the Hive. We're just moments away from the start of what we like to call is our main event tonight. Perham Yellow Jackets taking on the Detroit Lakes Lakers in a big Section 8 2A clash. I'm Jason Groth, joined by Lance Rock, which should be a fun one. We got the last few champions of the section going at it with Detroit Lakes and Perham as we get ready to honor, as they're going to be honoring some of our Yellow Jacket seniors here on senior night, but an exciting night. Overall, let's talk about this quick. This match is the one that we've been kind of looking for and we've been talking to about for a few weeks now. When you look at the section, both these teams have faced Thief River Falls. Is one that I know is different times of the year, but Perham got the win against Thief River Falls. Detroit Lakes was edged out by Thief River Falls. And you never know what could happen when these two teams get together.
You're right, Jason, and just kind of looking at the seniors here, excellent group of young men. Aaron Burr, Gareth Covington, Jack Fudge, definitely leaders on and off the mat, in the weight room and those, and also manager. It's a nice night to look at those seniors and know how hard they've worked. But go ahead.
Sorry, and you mentioned the seniors. One thing we got to talk about the managers, the work that they put in for not just the Yellow Jacket program, but other programs, the work that they put in behind the scenes, the social media works that they do. Hats off to them and all the work that they do as well for their squads.
Incredible. Maddie Rose is the senior for the Yellow Jacket squad, and they kind of keep everything together. They do film, they do all sorts of stuff that people wouldn't see. But as we talk about tonight, Jason, my personal opinion is we all know the heavy hitters, so to speak. We all know the Jack Fudges, the Brian Ramoses, and on down the line for the Jackets, we know that Cade Jackson, Brody Elliott's, Blaine Henderson, Anders Barnett. I think it's going to be some of those toss-up matches by wrestlers without the big records that are probably going to really drive where this match goes to. So why not get started? 106, Chandler Mickelson out, and did you catch
it's Andy Bartness going for
Andy
Detroit
Bartness
Lakes.
Going, and
there we go.
It happens every time. We're gonna have to figure out why that button comes on. But
I was quicker tonight, so
that was really quick. But I would guess this has to be Mickelson by at least a decision, and I'm guessing Perham's figuring for more than that. So takedown for Mickelson. I really believe that this is a spot that the Yellow Jackets probably are looking for that bonus point situation.
Let's see what, Lance. I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna say that's your first call of the night on this one.
All right,
going out on a limb here, and this is not really a limb, but this is one of those points, like you mentioned, with some of the matches that we see coming up between these two teams. This is going to be one of those where if you're Chandler Mickelson, you're looking for 4, 5, or 6.
Yep, and I would say that those are the matches we gotta have. We've got to have those bonus points. If you're a Jackets fan, if you're a Laker fan, you're hoping for a win, obviously, but hoping to not give up so many bonus points. And here goes Mickelson on a tilt, and he's going to get his 3 as it's already held down, and it's going to make it 5-0. But Mickelson is kind of imposing his will and really wanting to work this into a pin type situation and make it 6-0. So Mickelson comes in 13-0 on the year and just kind of continues to roll.
It's those spots that we've kind of talked about. If you're Detroit Lakes here, it's a victory if you don't give up bonus points in this spot. If you're Bartness in this spot, you don't give up the bonus points. That actually is one of those winning by losing type situations.
And this is one of those spots where I would consider Chandler's worked his way into being one of Perham's heavy hitters. You expect him to win, obviously with an undefeated record, but you're almost expecting more. You don't think about the win. You're thinking about, can he get us bonus points? Where I'm looking for this match tonight might be the next one when we have Ramos and Vargas going at each other, and that might be the toss-up matches that really define what happens here tonight. 4-0 lead for Mickelson going into the second. And Andy Bartness will take down. Kind of an interesting call. I'm not sure what I would have done as a coaching staff. Obviously, I trust Coach Elliott and his staff more than I would trust myself in this situation. But it seemed like Chandler had a really good ride on him. But to have that ride happen, he had to take him down. So I don't know that both up would have been the situation either. And I'm not so sure about him in the down position with as hard as Chandler Mickelson is at riding.
Well, great analysis and a great job of describing what probably was the thought process there of Coach Elliott as Mickelson's trying to work and flip him over here.
And he is getting back points again. Bartness is trying to post a little bit and stay out of this position, and he's kicking, but the more he kicks, the tighter it's getting, and I think this is really close, ladies and gentlemen, to seeing that bonus points that we were talking about for the Yellow Jackets, and there it is. And Chandler Mickelson continues on his roll and continues kind of being that leadoff hitter for the Yellow Jackets and bringing home 6 points for them. So 6-0 in favor of the Yellow Jackets early on in this match.
That's a big one for the Yellow Jackets right there. Like we said, if you're a Yellow Jacket fan, you wanted the bonus points, you got them there when you needed them.
And this is one of those matches that I'm looking forward to tonight. Johnny Ramos just keeps getting better and better. And as he's working, there's the 2 points for Ramos. Ramos is 4-10 on the season. Isaiah Vargas is 8th grader, and he's 2-11, probably 3-11 now. And Ramos is going right to work on that arm bar. And, man, do I see a sense of urgency in these Yellow Jackets. And Vargas is doing a great job of fighting off of his back here. But there is a long time, and he does an excellent job of getting off of his back. So,
well, you mentioned that sense of urgency. I think we talked about this schedule that the Yellow Jackets have put together where they have really had no slouches this year. And I think it helps them prepare for a match like this against Detroit Lakes.
3-point near fall there for Ramos. Makes it 5-0. We're under a minute to go here. Vargas is working on the bottom. Ramos has kind of got a parallel ride here, so my guess is he's going to have to pick a side here pretty soon, or the official's going to tell him to move on there, and he picks a side and kind of runs around. When he does, Vargas tries to spin out of there. So let's see if Vargas can get his point, or Ramos slaps in a cradle, catches him, but not enough, and then nice reaction there for Ramos, and he gets a ball. So looked like Vargas was out. Ramos catches him. Big pin for Johnny Ramos. 12-0 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. But this is kind of where it was with the Moorhead match as well, Jason.
A little bit, I would say, but with this difference points here is a couple of big momentum swings for the Yellow Jackets early on.
Leroy Lacrosse comes out against Levi Krusel. Levi Krusel in a headlock, but Lacrosse shows incredible strength and comes out of it and gets the reversal. So 2-2, so it's like nothing ever happened. So good flurry of action there as Levi throws in that headlock, and usually that spells danger for anybody out there. But give credit to Leroy Lacrosse as he gets out, and now he's in a tough ride himself. He's looking for that arm bar, and he's going to turn Levi. Oh, Levi kind of tries to stand up. He re-flattens him, and Levi goes to his back but tries to kick. We're getting back points. Let's see if he can settle back or if Levi keeps rolling. Here's back points, and it's fairly tight. I think it's only two back points, makes it 4-2. He flips sides. And Levi is pretty flat right now. So, man, good action here, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on Magnitude Sports. This is kind of a treat right away off the first 3 matches. I'm trying to catch my breath, so as my friends on keep texting me say, hey, let Jason say something once in a while.
It's been an exciting start to the night. Kind of anticipated the high-flying action between these two teams, and now Krusel trying to get a nice reversal and does.
So all of this, it's 4-4. We got 30 seconds left in the first period. Krusel tries the power half, and here goes a Granby attempt. Krusel kind of slides with it. Now grabbing of the head, don't get stacked, Levi, and that's what ends up happening. He bails on it kind of at the wrong time. It's in tight, but Levi's just squirreling out of here. 2 seconds remaining. I think he's going to stay out of harm's way, but there's going to be back points. So reversal, and I think 2 or 3 there, Jason.
They gave him 3.
They gave him 3, so 9-4. Whoa. That's all I can say right there. And again, these are those matches that I think Perham's going to have to steal 1 or 2 if I've done my math correctly, and this might be one, and I sure think Levi's still can do this here.
Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt to try the math here tonight with the way this battle's going. But you're right, Perham needs to find a way to steal 1 or 2, I think, especially with the guys that they have coming up in this Detroit Lakes lineup.
So 2 points there, 2 points takedown again for Leroy Lacrosse. And what an exciting match, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're really settled in and enjoying this home, because this atmosphere is electric right now with the crowd we have. And Levi turns the tides. And let's see what happens here. We've kind of been in this situation before. He's getting back points. He's got it pretty tight now. And let's see if he can hold on. And this would bring, and it does, it brings the all of the Jackets to their feet. So in one where we were behind and losing, Levi Cruzel comes up with a big pin, and it's now 18-0 in favor of the Yellow Jackets.
And in unison, you couldn't see it on the monitor, but to my left, the Lakers squad in unison all kind of turned around, and you just kind of had that feel that was not the swing that they're hoping for.
So we're going to go to 126. We have Caden Felt for the Yellow Jackets. Again, Caden Felt is a sophomore, 3-6 on the year against Tyson Elliott. And I know from a lot of years of elementary wrestling that these two have seen each other a ton. And this could also be a good one. So Tyson Elliott, a 10th grader, 13-2 on the season. Placed third in the section last year, so just missing that state. And he takes Felt down and right to his back. And Caden's kind of knowing where he's at, is just kind of trying to do that scoot out of there. And as he does, his body kind of flips over, and he's out of harm's way for at least this round. So 1:10 remaining on the clock, 5-0 lead for Elliott. And I'm guessing this is where they're hoping to start a little bit of run for if you're a Lakers fan. Still in the first period, escape Felt, 5-1. And there's a nice duck under takedown, makes it 7 and right to his back, and there's a fall. And just as we start to gain momentum, if you're a Perham fan, Elliott goes, here we go. It's my turn. So 8-6, and this might end up being a real key match here, and to see where we go at 132.
And it always seems to be a spot for Gareth Covington. And
on senior night, I guess that's kind of what you want, but Gareth had kind of the hard luck match of the night as he came out, got headlocked, and we didn't realize how good a wrestler he was, and he kind of took it to Wold too. So in this matchup, we have Carson Wold. Carson Wold, a senior, currently record is 7-6 on the year, and we have Gareth Covington, who's also 7-6. So this is we're starting to look smarter than we really are, Jason, I think, as we're starting to call these matches. So I didn't get a chance last week, and I didn't get a chance in the first match, but I really want to congratulate Gareth Covington on his 50th win last week.
And he's, like we talked about earlier, he's one of those guys that has had to work really hard to get to that 50, just because a lot of the wrestlers that he's faced throughout his career and when he cracked into the lineup.
Gareth working hard here on the front headlock, and a good action there as it looked like Wold was going to go spin behind, and Gareth kind of spun out of harm's way there. Yeah, Gareth, extremely hard worker, awesome kid, and congratulations to him on his 50th. He shoots in. Wold meets him with that front headlock. You kind of wonder if they're both on a little sticker shock here after their matches with Shaheen.
And then you mentioned Gareth, and is that, the hard worker, and that comes in the family that he has, that bloodline, with a couple of D1 running sisters in the cross-country level.
Correct. So equally matched. I think we saw a couple shots from both of them. Equally good defense from both of them. 20 seconds remaining, 0-0. So even though it's not the high-flying, high-scoring that we had like with the Cruzel match, equally as fun to watch, and you're kind of just wondering who's going to get that one takedown that might put that over the edge and turn the tide here a little bit. So, for Gareth, it'd be a spot where he really wants to extend the Yellow Jackets' lead, because we're quickly going to step into kind of the trial by fire there for some of these Yellow Jackets. Covington's choice. He defers. Wold's going down, and again, sometimes that first point is so huge as you get into overtime. But Gareth, a nice spin out there by Wold. Gareth sticks with him, but this time Wold kind of grabs for the head. Maybe a little nervousness after that first headlock by Covington, and rightfully so. He bails on it and says, I'd rather give up 1 than 2, which is sometimes smart wrestling is better than what you think you should do. So 1-0 lead for Wold. Let's see who gets the first takedown here. Great defense. There's been a couple shots by both wrestlers. They're both definitely, I would say, fairly equally matched here, Jason. I don't know what you're thinking, but it looks like a really, really equal match, and these guys could probably wrestle 10 times and be 5-5.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I couldn't agree more with you right now, and I think Gareth is going to be closing in, and I'm going to make that call. He's going to be the one that gets that first takedown and end up taking a 2-1 lead.
So great job of getting the single leg there. Wold showing incredible balance, and off the mat they go, and nothing. So I think that makes me 1-0 on my prediction, and you 0-1. But who's keeping
we still
score?
have time here on this one.
Okay. So 45 seconds remaining. Excellent job by Gareth getting the single leg, but man, Wold showing the balance, hopping. Yeah, that wouldn't happen for me anymore. And here goes Wold in on a takedown. Gareth defending it, throws the hip over, and let's see what happens here. Hips kind of bailed there for a little bit for Wold. Now it's he's trying to hip him over. Looks like a good spot for Gareth. Let's see if Wold drives in. He doesn't. Gareth does a great job. He's going to peel this arm off. It's got to be close to 2 right there. And let's see what, that's nothing yet. Paul Beach says nothing yet, and it goes into the end of the period. So
close to getting that call.
Yeah, twice. So again, Gareth, excellent job of creating offense. Wold, nice job on defense. So 1-1, we're back to the beginning. So here we go, 1-1 score. I just kind of have a feeling for the Yellow Jackets. They're looking at this as one that they might need to have here. And again, competitors, you never want to be down in the match. So I'm sure the Lakers are looking like, let's get this going. Here's a quite a move by Wold, who gets the takedown, leads 3-1. Gets the Lakers crowd fired up, and rightfully so, as it's been such a close battle. And just that finish is the difference in this match so far.
It's going to be a unique minute 10 here as Wold continues to work. And Gareth is trying to work his way out and his way up.
1 minute. Looks like he's close to his escape, and there it is. So third period, 3-2. It's going to take a takedown here, obviously, from Gareth, and he's been in on his shots. He's been close. Wold's done a great job of defending it, and here we are again. He's back in the shot. Nice job there, and he's going to get his 2 here and goes up 4-3. So a great job. And let's see what happens here. So 25 seconds remaining. If you're watching at home, you can cheer for either wrestler that you want to. Wold's making all kinds of moves. Gareth's just holding behind. Here he's grabbing the head. Wold, if he stands up here, I think he would have it. But both sides are cheering on their wrestler. We're down to 9 seconds. And it looks like Gareth's going to hold on. But then here comes Wold. He spins and out. 4-4. 1 second remaining, and probably our first is this our first overtime?
This will be our first overtime.
Our first overtime match in the broadcast. So, this was a good one. If you're familiar with the Perham track, I have been all over it during this match. So here we go. 4-4, 50 seconds on a 1 minute overtime. 1 minute overtime. These guys, we thought were equally matched on paper, probably even more equally matched on the mat, and Wold catches him and pins him. So a lot of times you see that happen, that flurry of action, and excellent match. I want to be in when these guys wrestle again when it comes section time. But nevertheless, in this match, it makes it 18-12, heading into 138. Both wrestlers in this last one, whoever you were cheering for, hats off to both of them because they are exhausted and they gave it their all on the sidelines. And both groups of wrestlers, whether it's Detroit Lakes or whether it's Perham, are surrounding their wrestlers. So nice job. Bradley Swears going at 138 for the Lakers. Swears is an 11th grader, currently 13-2 on the season. He's going up against Carson Byer, a 9th grader, who is 2-11. Picked up a big victory in the first one against Moorhead, but Swears is in and has the takedown and leads 2-0, 30 seconds in.
And this is a part of the lineup that we talked about. You know, you're getting ready for Detroit Lakes. Now Perham's going to have to come up with a couple of stops that they need to. But right now, 5 matches, 5 falls.
Wow, I didn't think about that. That's thanks, Jason, for sharing that. Yeah, 5 falls. So, pin or get pinned here. And I'm pretty sure that the Lakers are looking for pin or fall number 6 here as we go. As they bring out Bradley Swears, who's a real veteran wrestler. But 47 seconds. Carson's doing a good job, but Swears just keeps grinding on this and trying to turn him over. Carson's doing a good job of just kind of keeping himself in balance, but there's nothing he can really do with that arm pinned underneath him, and still trying to drive him over here.
So sorry.
Yeah.
But one thing we got to talk about too is that spot at 160 where Perham has been open.
Right.
So that might play a role and see what they like to do here tonight in this match.
And it may end up being at 45 or something different, so you bypass one of the Lakers heavy hitters. And so that's where that coaching staff and you just play around with where are we best giving up the points, because you hate to give up points, but where do you best give it up? And way to go, Mr. Byer here. 2-0 at the end of the first. Did a great job after that initial takedown, and we talked about that in one of the earlier matches, Jason, that kind of the tough part about wrestling is you can be dominant for a whole period and lead 2-0.
And we touched on in that first match earlier today for Carson Byer. He seemed to have that different little bit of level of energy tonight, and we'll see. Hopefully, he can carry that into the second period, maybe turn things around like he did in that first match. We had a nice match tonight.
Here's a nice single leg shot tried into a double. Just kind of hips him down and takes a 4-1 lead. So again, I have a feeling if this would be 3 or 4 points, it would be another one of those win situations for the Yellow Jackets. All the stuff that's went on, Jason, it's kind of hard to imagine that it's 18-12 and the Jackets are up. So kind of interesting as we go along. So
it's that roller coaster ride that both these teams are going to take you on tonight here.
So 4-2, and then there's another takedown. So 6-2, and away we go. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here if they keep playing the takedown game. Swears looks to the bench, but realizes it's the Jackets bench that he looked at, so he didn't get a whole lot of help on what they wanted him to do. So he just cut him anyways with 40 seconds to go. And definitely looking, I would guess Swears is looking for some sort of move that he can get bonus, back points or into a pinfall situation. So off the mat they go, 28 seconds remaining, 18-12 on our scoreboard. And good match for Carson Byer so far. Back in on that single. We'll see if he hips him again and then takes him down. So 8-3. So with it's only a 5-point lead. Definitely trying for some tilt point here, and Byers just really fighting. This is almost potentially dangerous as he's kind of up on his shoulders there a little bit, but the clock helps us out in that situation, and it's 8-3 going into the third. And Coach Elliott tells Bradley Swears, let's go both up. You can definitely tell by the chatter, Jason, that the rivalry is a little more entrenched between the DL Lakers and the Perham Yellow Jackets than either one of the other teams in Moorhead Spuds.
Oh, definitely. You can tell the energy is high for a limited crowd on COVID regulations, and I think it's going to continue throughout this night, especially with some of the matches that we touched on that could potentially happen later in the night.
That's right, and again, we'd probably be remiss if we didn't thank Magnitude Sports for letting us bring this into your living room, and AD Aaron Anderson and the athletic department and all of our sponsors for making this night available, as I hope you're having as much fun at home watching as Jason and I are calling this.
And we'll have a lot of chances to listen to us talk this week, as we'll be on 3 more times with basketball action later in the week.
I think I'm just going to name this chair, Jason, because we're going to be here for a long time. There's another point which gives us that 8-point lead, and I know that Bradley Swears is definitely looking for more, but Carson Byer is doing a great job of not giving it to him. 12-4, so that 8-point difference makes it a 4-point decision as we get going, and things are tightening up. 30 seconds remaining. Carson's got to do something. He does a good job of just raising his head as Swears has that arm trapped underneath, and there's not much that you can do when your arm's trapped underneath, and as soon as you try to bounce, they're using their shoulders to do it, and there's the stall call. And 6 seconds left, so Carson Byer does a great job limiting this to 4 against a really good opponent, and someone then Bradley Swears that I'm sure that they were thinking 5 or 6 at that point. So 18-16, Yellow Jackets keep the lead. We go to 145, and you're right, we're probably gonna go to 160 where we go. So we're gonna go Jacob McCleary. Jacob McCleary's coming in as a sophomore, 1-10 against Cade Jackson, who's a 10th grader as well. Current record of 14-1. State entrant, plays 4th in the state. Currently ranked 6th in the state of the Minnesota by the Guillotine, and kind of had that interesting way. Got hot at the end of the year. 28-19 was his season record, but 4th in the state. So shows he can wrestle with just about anyone. And he has a 2-point takedown with less than 15 seconds off the clock. Working on some stuff. McCleary's been real slippery, Jason, so you just never know when he's going to come out of a situation like this. Here are the arm bars in, and he's going to want to flatten McCleary out. McCleary keeps going back to his haunches, which tends to lead to more potentially dangerous, but here he goes over and flips almost all the way over. Gets nice job there. He gives up the back points, but also comes up, almost with his own reversal. But a nice job by Jackson to bring him back to the mat. So 4-0, 55 seconds remain. Kind of got those arms trapped, and that seems like something that the middle of this lineup's wanted to do, Jason, is get that arm underneath, take one of their spots of getting out away. Here we're back into the arm bar. Seems like a spot that Jackson likes to be in. He's wrapping up those shoulders, and that's pretty tight, but McCleary's been great at coming out of this thing, and again, does the same kind of thing that he's done. So, man, most I would say a lot of wrestlers would have been pinned a couple times, and McCleary stayed out of it.
Yeah, McCleary's done a nice job of trying to fight off, but you almost starting to wonder the way Jackson wrestles and how strong he is. If he goes back to that, what might happen the next time?
Yeah, definitely the length of Jackson really plays into those arm bars, and you know that there's probably cradles type situation coming up, but there he goes again, 2 seconds remaining, and we're going to see here. Nope, he waves off the pin. Waves off the pin. We're going to have a coach's, not so much challenge, but he's going to ask.
That was very, very close. But looks like
if tie goes to the runner, I don't know who the runner is in this case, Jason. That's how close it was. So I think
the hand. I mean, it was simultaneous with the horn.
It was.
Fortunately, we don't have the instant replay function, but that was close. And now they're going to talk over at the table.
Yep. And so they'll have a little conversation. I'm guessing we'll see where we're at, and it was super close. But he gives them the takedown or the back points, no pin. So McCleary fights on into the second period. McCleary's going down, and I'm not so sure this is where I'd want to be if I'm McCleary. But a good try at a stand-up, but right into that armbar type tilt situation. And here he goes again, trying to thread that needle and bringing in that armbar, and he's got it one more time. So might be nice job by McCleary sitting up out of it. There he rolls him over again. So armbar over and over and over again. Every time that McCleary flips over, I can kind of see the DL fans are looking for that fall, and I would guess that it's pretty close. There's definitely 2-point near fall that time, and so it's 12-0. But I'm guessing that, like you said, Jason, they're looking for the pinfall right here.
And McCleary is just finding a way to get out. I mean, saved by the clock at the end of the first period, and somehow was able to get out there, but.
He's slippery. He really is. There's no other way that I can describe it, that he gets out of situations that I don't see other wrestlers getting out of, and he does it night in and night out.
And in this match, at least 4 times.
Right. And again, you're going against the number 6 rated kid in the state of Minnesota, plays 4th at the state tournament in Jackson. So it's not just your ordinary wrestler throwing in those arm bars either. It's a real accomplished wrestler. And here he goes again. And we'll see what happens. McCleary does the same thing, but that one's tight.
I think the angle is helping him all there.
Yep, and that one, it was just one of those that you knew at one point he was going to catch him. McCleary did an excellent job. Kate Jackson was an arm-barring machine on that in that match. So that's your first change in the scoreboard, as the Lakers now lead 22-18 after 3 straight pins for the Yellow Jackets. It's been all Lakers since. And there's our switch, and the Lakers do bring out Brody Elliott at 152, and the Jackets send nobody out. So 6 points there for the Lakers, which makes it 28-18. And that was one of the matches that we were kind of looking forward to. You could see Perham's strategy in it, trying to maybe shift around and get this score closer when it comes to the very end. So now we have Jack Fudge on the mat for the Yellow Jackets. And I didn't hear who they said. It's nobody I have on my list here.
I thought I heard Austin Thompson.
That's what I thought I heard too. So kind of the same thing, I guess. You throw a spade for a spade there. Yeah, Detroit Lake said if you're going to pass up Elliott, we're going to pass up Fudge. We'll go 6-6, and that's what Fudge did. And we'll go 6-6. We're right back to where we begin. This case, it may favor the Lakers a little bit as they kind of compact their upper weights a little bit into, they can kind of pick and choose now who they're going to. So Garrett Nelson comes out for the Lakers. Garrett Nelson bumping up from 160. He is currently 12-3 on the season. Looked really strong in the first one, wrestling Hudson Hackle. Hudson Hackle is a 9th grader who is 5-8. So here's where the strategy comes into play here as we get going to see where we bump and where we're going to. And a great match and fun to really see the Yellow Jackets compete here as you weren't quite sure. And there's a takedown for Nelson.
And I know everyone's kind of wanted to see that Fudge Elliott match. Now we'll hopefully get to see that in the sections and see how that goes. But understandable decision there. If you're the Yellow Jackets, you know you got to give up 6 at some point, and you need to find a way to get those 6 back.
That's right. So, some key matches coming up right here. My guess is you're going to go the same kind of thing we did before. I'm guessing whoever sends out, if Ramos comes out, it'll be someone else for the probably Thad Schlotterhoff for the Lakers, and if they send out, we'll probably see some bumping and moving for both teams as they have a little wiggle room now, but probably advantage to the Lakers maybe a little bit in this case with what the moves that they can still make.
And then you also look further down at 285, they're going to go with that veteran Andreas Barnett. So there's also there as we cut their closer waiting in the wings.
Exactly, and I'm sure they're counting in at least 3 that they're up there, so which would put them up by 7 right now. So I think that's kind of the way they're looking at it. Here comes Hackle around, and this would be a huge reversal for Hackle. 10 seconds remaining. He's getting some back points. And does there's enough time? 3, 2, 1, and no fall. We might want to say fall, but it was probably 2 second delayed there with the crowd not being able to hear.
Well, they may not have been able to hear that aspect, but I think they were debating that it probably should have been called before that anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So whoever you're cheering for, you're kind of both on your feet going, wait a second, but nonetheless, what a great move by Hudson Hackle there to make it 5-2, and
his matches always have a flair.
They do have it. There's always something that you don't expect going to happen, it seems like.
But I think there's about 12 people in that front row on the right side that believe that Hackle had a pin with about 3 seconds to go.
They were, they were down on the mat and they were ready to make that call themselves. So,
and there might have been 12 on the other side, on the left side, that said, no, that happened to us earlier.
Exactly, exactly. So here we go, 1:30, so 30 seconds off the clock. Nelson's riding maybe a little shell shock there with the exchange there from Hackle. And let's see what goes about here if he's trying to pull Hackle over. And again, you just never know when you get to those weight classes and you bump up a weight. Just the sheer size alone, makes it real interesting. But so 50 seconds. The fans are yelling, cut him, and he does. So we'll see. Makes it 6-2, so Hackle up by 4, and we'll see how this works out. It looks like Nelson was working on taking him over, but decides to cut him, and let's see what Hackle does. A Hackle with a lot of hands to the head, and we'll see if that is allowed to be continued by Paul Beach or not. There's a stall on Hackle. Hackle's probably thinking he's doing what he's supposed to be doing now, but he is wrestling with the lead. So 6-2, you don't want to give up any free points. And here's a little rush by Nelson, but to no avail. They both go off the mat with 9 seconds. So it looks like we'll go into the 9 seconds unless we have some quick action here. Looks like we'll go into the third period with Hackle up 6-2, which I would say would probably be the upset of the night. But there goes Hackle for 2 more. So Hackle probably wrestling his best match of the season and coming at a great time for the Yellow Jackets.
This has been quite the performance by Hackle, and you can just see the frustration starting to show on the faces of the Lakers in this one.
Exactly. Yeah, and a little bit you can see on Nelson, a little bit of that frustration, but again, it's a 6-point lead, so let's see what it happens. Hackle's been doing a good job there. He fights in great on a double, and he's just got the single in. Let's see what happens here. He's kind of just hipping into him. It probably will be a stalemate, but all of this time is precious that he's taken off the clock. It gives less time for Garrett Nelson to work, and there's the stalemate. 28 seconds in. Again, a little bit quiet there. There goes Hudson back in on another single shot, hipped over by Nelson, but coming out the back is Hackle, and I would think that's almost 2 there. And there it is, and that's a huge takedown, which makes it 10-2, which is a major decision.
And that's going to even, if it stays that way for the next minute, it's going to even up our team score with some unique matches and decisions coming ahead.
Exactly. This is coming down a lot tighter than we thought, and we thought that there'd have to be some good action by some of the wrestlers in these matches that we weren't sure of, and here's one of them.
I'm waiting to see if we're going to have our coaches meet in the middle trying to give their instructions. As we saw some of the other matches earlier this year, is they're getting their work out on the side of the mats tonight.
That is for sure. And so this is a huge match for Hackle, and you know, he really can just settle in right here, as nothing has to happen. Just don't give up anything too big. And there's 2. And are we going to get some back points? That gives up that major decision. So again, a great job by Hudson Hackle, and one that I was probably predicting the other way, and good job that he proved me wrong.
Well, he had a very outstanding start and was able to hold off Garrett Nelson and makes it 28-27.
Yeah, nice win there for Hudson Hackle. So that leads us to 182. Ramos is coming out here for sure, and let's see what happens with the Lakers here. They got a bunch of kids waiting to come out, and they're going to go with Thad Schlotterhoff. So a little flip-flop here. So Schlotterhoff coming up from 170 against Ramos, and like I said, Ramos has been a takedown machine, and it's definitely going to go down to those last three matches, and let's see what happens here. If Ramos comes up with some bonus points for the Yellow Jackets, or Schlotterhoff can hold him off, and there's 2 takedowns, which have been exactly what Ramos has done almost every time this year.
It's almost on cue that Ramos gets a takedown, and now he's going to try to go for more. And he's trying to go for 6 in this one. It really will be huge for the Yellow Jackets to get that pin if they can.
Exactly. Every point's going to count here. You just have that feeling. 195 could be a barn burner. Gordon is Inyard has wrestled really well for the Yellow Jackets, but my guess is it's going to be Blaine Henderson coming out for the Lakers, and that again, Gordon might be in that same spot where we really need him at that point. 1 minute remaining. Another takedown for Ramos makes it 6-2, and he's got that cradle locked in, but here comes Schlotterhoff coming out, so make it 6-3. So Ramos just doing a great job. That speed and quickness, Jason, is impressive.
And now you add the power with that one.
Exactly. So a huge fall situation here for Ramos. Schlotterhoff fights his way back to his belly. So not a lot of guys do that against Mr. Ramos when he gets it down. So hats off to Thad Schlotterhoff in this case. And there's a headlock, and it slides right through. So just like in that first match, I said that's the best I saw Thad Schlotterhoff wrestle. It is 12-4, but he's actually doing a really good job against Brian here.
Yeah, and he slipped out there. Ramos was close to sealing it in, but he was able to slip out there. But Ramos, again, right on the tack.
It's definitely that takedown to that cradle is his first. It's kind of just like you can't have one without the other. I mean, he takes down, boom, he looks for that cradle immediately.
What a dominant period again by Ramos. I mean, just consistently in what you expect from him every time.
Ramos's choice, and he chooses down. So Ramos goes down in this situation. 12-4 leading in the second against Thad Schlotterhoff from the Lakers. I know you can, there's a nice reversal. Nice roll through reversal there for Ramos. Puts him up 14-4, so it's 10. So every point's going to count. So there's that headlock. He felt it the first time. This time he got it tight and right to a fall. So that's an extra bonus point, so to say. Instead of going, he gets the pinfall and puts the Jackets up 33-28 going into 195. We have Gordon Enyart coming out for the Yellow Jackets. Gordon is a junior, 7-2 on the season, been in a lot of big spots for the Yellow Jackets. And here's Blaine Henderson for the Lakers, and Enyart right in on a takedown, escape by Henderson. So Gordon creating some fireworks and coming out right off the bat. And again, bump up situation again for the Lakers. That Henderson weighed in at 182 and is now up to 185. So you never know what happens with that bump up situation, and I'm sure you kind of start to wonder at times like this if you made the right decision. There's Henderson with the takedown, makes it 3-2.
And it goes to the confidence that I think Coach Elliott has in Blaine Henderson to come through for his Lakers squad, as the veteran wrestler for his team has done throughout his career.
You're exactly right, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on 220 here as we come up as well, depending on what this score ends up being. So a cutting situation, so he lets Gordon Enyart up, makes it 3-3. So that initial takedown must have not scared Blaine Henderson too much, as he says, let's both go back up on our feet, and I'll give up that lead and make it a tied situation. So 27 seconds remaining, and for that cut to be good, he's almost got to go for a takedown here pretty soon.
I think Enyart's doing a nice job. There's Henderson went in for a shot there.
Kind of that reshot has been a good situation for Detroit Lakes, but Gordon's in a great spot because of where he's at on the mat with 7 seconds remaining. If he doesn't give up this two, great job by Gordon to go 3-3 into the second period.
Just to say, you mentioned the great location where Enyart was on the mat. Henderson was trying to pull him back.
And we go into the second period. Yeah, trying to bring him back onto the mat would have been choices for Green. Enyart chooses down. Probably a good decision because he cut him the first time. You knew that Blaine was going to cut him again. And so here we go. Both on our feet. Enyart up by 1. Just starting the second period.
Just got that feeling that something big is coming here in Next, I would say 20 to 40
It's
seconds.
kind of the calm before the storm, I think. Even myself, I'm just sitting here glued to the TV, so I hope you guys are doing the same thing. I caught myself just watching going, I wonder what's going to happen here really soon. So minute 20 left on the clock. Both wrestlers just kind of hand fighting, kind of half shots, not really committing to anything, but front headlock there, snap down and go behind. And I would guess we're close to 2, and there it is. So the lead goes back to Henderson. So they're back to the cut situation, which makes it 5-5. Blaine shoots in, but here goes Enyart. Maybe committed a little more, might have got his own takedown there, but you know that he's being coached too to be very careful in this situation. So 38 seconds to go, and a lot of calculated wrestling going on right here. There's a fireman's try for Enyart that doesn't happen, and right into a side cradle for Blaine Henderson. 22 seconds remaining. Definitely trying to get back points. They got the 2. He's got him pretty tight. This would be huge if this happens with 18 seconds. He's definitely got back points, but good job by Enyart to balance himself back up. He resettles in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and a fall again within a second, Jason. That's, I think, our third one on the night that there's been a fall within a second.
That one comes with 0.7 seconds on the clock at the end of the period.
It also gives DL the lead by 1, and you know that they have Andreas Barnett coming up, the number 5 ranked wrestler in the state at 285. So Jeffrey Moen's going to go a 10th grader. He's currently, I believe, 9-6 now on the season. So Jeffrey Moen, a 10th grader, and this is Aaron Burr for the Yellow Jackets. Aaron Burr. So Aaron Burr comes out, if I heard right, chin strap down, 1 point for red to start, which we don't want to give up any points, obviously, at this point. I'll continue where I was. Aaron Burr is a senior. He picked up a victory in this last match and is now 1-2. It was a big pin for the Yellow Jackets, kind of got them out of harm's way. This is a big match right here, Jason, again for Aaron Burr, and even keeping it within, Barnett's coming up, but you never know what's going to happen in a 285 class. So if we can keep it within 6, that'll be huge. And there were a couple things that the Jackets needed to do tonight, and they've done it so far. So let's see if that continues. So Moen definitely kind of steering the bus there, and we got to remember he's up 1-0 with that penalty point. So that I hope that doesn't come into play, just kind of like we hoped it didn't come into play in the Moorhead Perham match. In the first one, that was a team point. This one's just an individual point. So 40 seconds to go here. Both wrestlers kind of doubling up. Looks like Burr's trying to go double unders. And Moen says no to that and kind of takes his arm back. And as it's picking up here, both sides are really starting to get into it.
Well, I think everyone here in this gym is starting to realize it's that quiet before the storm as well, to calm a little bit, because everyone knows how important this match is and how much is riding on this match going in with 285 looming.
And I don't want to bring up a situation because you don't know what's going to happen, but the Jackets were open in one weight class, giving up 6 points, which would make the score a little bit different. But there are some things that happen through every match that you can't account for. So,
and you mentioned that spot that they're open for the Yellow Jackets is a very pivotal wrestler who was out battling an injury, and was a key member of this team.
Exactly, and then hoping to have him back, I'm sure, like any injured was. And I know DL has a couple kids that are key members that have been out from football injuries and whatnot. So everybody battles through and kind of that next man up approach as we get going. So here we have that had to be close to a stall. We're up on their feet for a long time. If you don't know, they have to return them within a certain amount of time or it becomes a stall penalty. So Burr comes out and makes it 1-1. So again, let's hope that it's not that 1 point for a chin strap violation as we go. And not sure if we have a poke to the eye or something like that, but we have an official's timeout as we go through this match. I think every nightcap we've had, Jason, has almost gone down to the wire since we've started doing this.
It definitely has, and it's been exciting. I know the last one went down to the wire that we had, and it's only fitting that the main event goes down to the wire.
It is, and here we're going. Burr's looking at some sort of throw situation, it looks like, and Mullen just kind of forces his way in, pushes him off. Probably some smart wrestling there to not get caught up in this hype because he can go down if he gets his point. He's up 2-1. Would give the Lakers a 4-point advantage if he just wins a regular decision. So
this goes to that stuff we talked about earlier where your son Leighton talked about tuning out the crowd. How important it is to only be tuned in to the coaches that you want to hear.
Right, and both coaches, whichever side, they are working like crazy right now, pushing and pushing, trying to get the best out of their kids, and that's all you can ask for as we sit in the hive here on a Tuesday night. Burr pushing again. Don't want to go off the mat too many times. It's a great job here by Mullen to kind of turn back into him and then also do some pushing himself. So kind of keeps you away from that stalling call if you keep moving. So 14 seconds remain here, ladies and gentlemen, and 1-1. And the tension is getting a little higher in here, so it's kind of fun to be able to bring this to your living room as we go this evening. There's the end of the first period or second period. We go into the third. Interesting decision. Mullen doesn't go down. He is going to take both up, and it's 1-1. We have a little blood time here as they work on Aaron Burr. So interesting. That's the one thing that it'd be fun to be in the wrestling room or be a little bit more in the know, Jason, is what kind of things go into play that he didn't take down and hopefully would get his escape and be up 2-1.
He must feel much more confident on top in the way he wrestles and his style. Doesn't feel like that maybe he'd be able to get.
Maybe it's there's just so many variables that go into this. It's kind of interesting, but we have a little more blood time here from Burr. So a little more coaching is happening here for the Lakers, and they seem very confident when they were talking to Jeffrey Mullen that this must be part of the plan. So final period, whoever you're cheering for, make sure you're cheering loud. And there's a stall call on Burr, which another one gives that point, so maybe he really is confident with both up and thinking that he can get that stalling call here or pummel in to get something that will lead the Lakers to a victory here. So he's working to the sideline. Burr tries to spin around behind him. A little drag takedown there, and they both go off the mat. So a little flurry, a little action there as we started to go. And now we're back to the center. 1:20 remaining. There hasn't been a real serious shot, I don't think, in this match. So we'll see They're kind of pressing in, front headlock, but that slips. And neither one's really looking. They're all kind of looking upper body and throw. And you can tell exactly when a wrestler does something they shouldn't have. The whole group goes, no, and they retreat out of it. So
well, the one thing that's still looming as we look at the scoreboard at 1-1, and I was going to say, for the Birds takedown attempt, looming at 1-1 is that point and how it was put on the board.
Otherwise, 1-0, he might have had to go down, and it would change the complexity of this match. Burr tried a little toss there, again off the side of the mat where you can be a little bolder, so good move by him. Overtime might bring this crowd. There he gets into a single, and they're just telling him to go down, but he's not doing it, and now he's in the better position, but they both go off the mat. So I almost think the coaches wanted him to give himself up, make sure nothing big happened, knowing they can go to Barnett at the end.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly, I think, what Mr. Elliott was thinking in that situation.
Here we go into double, underhook, 1 over. This could be that other stall call, but he is facing back. Let's see if he calls it. Just out of bounds. I almost thought we may have that, and that would be a rough way to go down, is by stalling in a penalty point with 3 seconds. So it looks like we're going into our second overtime match, Jason. So 34-33, 220 pounds. We're in overtime, tied 1-1. It doesn't get much closer than this.
It does not.
Both sets of wrestlers. I know you can kind of see the Perham ones. Can't see DL. They're both up at the side of the mat. Just kind of the fun atmosphere being created by the kids themselves here.
It is, and the fans that were able to get in and get a ticket have also picked up the atmosphere, all staying within the COVID-19 guidelines that have been set, and have turned this into an outstanding atmosphere. It usually is when you come to the Hive.
Yep, it's a great place to watch athletics, whether it be wrestling, whether it be basketball. Here we go. There should be a stall. Burr off balance. This is going to be thrown or be thrown, I think, right here. 19 seconds to go. Both of them in kind of that arm drag lock. I thought Burr might be in a bad situation, but he's kind of got his feet back under him. They break. It looks like both of them are pretty tired, Jason.
I was just going to say they both look gassed at this situation. It was close when you said thrown or be thrown. I think they both just ran out of gas.
As it looked like they both had the opportunity to do so, which leads us into sudden victory overtime. I don't think it's sudden victory either. I think it's 30-30, isn't it?
We're still second overtime here now.
Yep. 30-30, so each of them get a chance to be down. If one of them can ride out the other one, looks like Burr's got a shot here. He gets his one. They still wrestle, so it's 15 seconds. Coach Vetch is urging him, just keep going, just keep going.
And for you watching at home, I'll do the math and stop the clock at 30 due to error.
There's 2 for Moon and back points. And the Yellow Jackets are going no. I have to say I didn't look at the clock, Jason. I'm thinking, going back to the scorer's clock, I thought maybe the 2-point happened. 2-point, no back points. So now it's his choice. So I'm wondering, he is going down. So he is up. Let me do a little bit better job of announcing here. Jeffrey Moen is up 3-2, 30 seconds. Burr's got to do something. I think he's almost got to cut him and try to. And as long as Moen kind of keeps circling here, 20 seconds remaining, and he makes any sort of effort, Burr needs to get rid of him here. We're down to 10 seconds. No stall call on DL, so he could really kind of flee the mat here with 9 seconds. Burr tries a shot, but I think both guys are just kind of gassed. There's a shot in. 4-2 and a takedown makes it 6-2 and a huge win for Jeffrey Moen in double OT. Makes it 37-33 in favor of the Lakers heading into heavyweight, where the Jackets will send out Reese Wilbrick, a junior. He is 3-2 on the season. And, of course, for the Lakers, you're going to see Andreas Barnett, number 5 in the state of Minnesota, currently 11-1, and was a state entrant last year.
The mountain is going to be huge for Reese Wilbrick to climb, but here's an opportunity to make a moment here for the Yellow Jackets.
There it is, a bear hug into our body lock type situation and a fall. And, Barnett kind of flexed it a little, showing off his prowess. But, wow, Jason, 43-33. I wouldn't have probably guessed that score when we started this, but hats off to the Yellow Jackets for throwing a big, just doing a great job wrestling. And of course for DL, they came and did what they kind of wanted to do, and they get another big victory when it comes time to look at Section 8 AA. So,
well, hats off again to the Lakers. Outstanding performance tonight. You know, they come in, take care of business, and played out where they need to. But again, the Yellow Jackets battled strong. Couple of tough decisions that went the other way in matches where they needed to kind of win the coin flips, and the Lakers were able to get some of those. There's a couple also that the Yellow Jackets did win, but tonight Detroit Lakes with the 43-33 victory. And to me, this shows is how tough Section 8 AA is going to be. We still haven't had a chance to see Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, and some of the other teams that are in this section. And in person here at Thief River Falls, we saw them. The Yellow Jackets had a chance to see them on the road. So Section 8 AA, the postseason is going to be quite entertaining.
It's going to be an interesting section for sure, Jason. And looking forward to all of these matches now become even more important as we lead up into tournament time. So I think what we'll do, Jason, is we'll step away for a minute or two. We'll kind of gather ourselves up, and we'll come back and recap this really fun matchup between the rivals of the Lakers and the Yellow Jackets.
Good sportsmanship. It will carry you further in life than sports. Growing up in North Dakota, I learned to respect my opponents, the coaches, and the officials. The values of fairness and teamwork carried me to the highest level in my sport and allowed me to live my dream of playing football in the NFL. It doesn't matter if you're on the stage, the playing field, or in the stands. We are all better when we show respect for others and practice good sportsmanship. Carry yourself with dignity. Being gracious makes the losses easier and the victories that much sweeter. So when the lights on the playing field, the stage, or the gym floor dim, you'll always have pride in yourself.
Hi, I'm Joyce Prine, and I've been with United Community Bank for the last 38 years. And one of the products that has gained popularity is our HELOC loans, which is home equity line of credit loans, which you can take the equity in your home and you can use it for various items, including home improvements or to purchase a four-wheeler or boat. Come visit with me anytime and we can discuss the home equity loan further. You can reach us on our website at ucbankmn.com.
You can capture the moments and memories of this game and all of our past sports broadcasts on DVD. It makes a great gift for a parent, relative, son, or daughter. Please allow 1 to 2 weeks for standard delivery. Place your order now, quickly and easily at msportsnet.com/DVD.
You didn't like the call? Please remember the officials on the court and the field have the best view of the action as it happens. More officials are needed. People like you. Stay connected to the game you love. Contact the NDHSAA, MSHSL, or your local high school to find out how to become an official. This message courtesy of Magnitude Sports.
And welcome back to the Hive. Jason Groth with Lance Rock as we get ready to wrap things up on what was another exciting triangular of wrestling action here at the Hive. 3 exciting duels tonight. The last one, another exciting one down to the end, but it's the Lakers coming away with a 43-33 victory as their scoreboard shows over the Yellow Jackets tonight.
So I guess what we're saying is if you ever want the match to go down to the wire, you should put us 2 on the air, because about every time we do, it seems like that's what happens. And this was not disappointing by any means. Obviously, you'd love to win. Everybody wants to win. What I think happened tonight is the Yellow Jackets put themselves into that running for that Section 8AA title by going, hey, we haven't gone away yet. We're here to wrestle.
Well, I agree completely. And you throw in Blake Lorentz back if he's able to come back. That's going to be a key wrestler for the Yellow Jackets to get back. I know every team has injuries and they go through it, but he's a big key cog in the middle of that lineup with Jack Fudge and among others for the Yellow Jackets. Tip of the cap to the start of the order of the lower weights of the Yellow Jackets tonight. Chandler Mickelson, Johnny Ramos, back-to-back falls kind of got things going. But then it was the run of pins for DL to answer back in the middle a little bit there. You know, decisions were made based on where points would be given up and what was not going to happen. So we did not get the Jack Fudge, Brody Elliott match that we were hoping for.
Right.
But we got some exciting ones instead throughout, and some great wrestling tonight that we saw. That a lot of momentum swings, and I think when these two teams both healthy, and you mentioned how this season plays out, it's going to be a fun potential matchup in the Section 5 tournament.
Well, if you joined us at the beginning, my thoughts were it wasn't going to be the big heavy hitters that were going to make the difference. It was going to be those matches we weren't sure of. And as I go back through and I look at this, and probably I'll turn the volume off so I don't have to hear myself, but I'd really like to watch this one again. And you have that opportunity to do that. And I think coaches will probably – there's going to be others who are watching this, because I look at Levi Krusel. Levi Krusel was down. Came back, got the pin, put us up 18-0. Right there's a swing of 4 points or more. And then you go through and you look at Hudson Hackle when they decided to bump up. All of a sudden he comes out with a big one. And that swing came back to the Jackets. Were probably 2 places that the Lakers were going, I see some victory for us. So hats off to those 2 ninth graders for doing that. And then you look at Aaron Burr going down with going the last couple matches with Jeffrey Moen, and that one could have went either way. And so maybe not those big highlight marquee matchups, but those matchups inside of there are what's going to prove, even in the end when they wrestle again, who takes the crown.
And one of those that stands out for Detroit Lakes is at 132 with Carson Wold, the overtime victory and pin over Gareth Covington. And that was a big momentum switch for Detroit Lakes at that time.
Yeah, so you can go both ways there, and I'm sure next time you're not expecting that to happen to Gareth Covington either. So topsy-turvy match where things happen that we weren't expecting, Jason. I would guess probably the 2 head coaches are talking down there. They probably weren't expecting it as well. And that's what makes high school athletics, to me, one of the most fun things to watch, is because you just don't know on any given night what's going to happen.
And it's really going to make things interesting section individual tournament time when you play things out, seed battle, and how that's going to look when those things come together as well.
It's interesting on that one, too, when you get that bumping situation. Now kids who aren't going to see each other probably at the individual tournament were wrestling. And so now you got to go, who's going to get this seed? And some of those big seeds aren't who's number 1 or 2, but it's who's 3, 4, 5, 6, and where they wrestle and who they have to wrestle in both matches. So exciting. I think the Yellow Jackets are on the road coming up here on Friday. They go to Bemidji to wrestle Bemidji, number 9 in 3A, and St. Michael Albertville, who I believe is 2 or 3 in 3A. So not much time to rest for the Yellow Jackets. They will just pick right up now and get back in the room and get ready. And for us, Jason, we've got a few things on the docket that you might, if you want to join us again, coming up here.
Yeah, we have a full slate of basketball hoops coming up for us on the Magnitude Sports Network. The Perham Yellow Jackets take on their Heart of the Lakes Conference rival, Dilworth, Linden, Felton. The Rebels come to the Hive Thursday night for varsity action. We'll have all 3 games, the C Squad, JV, and varsity streamed live on Magnitude Sports. And then Friday night, we'll switch to the girls basketball for a Heart of Lakes Conference basketball clash when the Holly Nuggets take on the Perham Yellow Jackets in what's going to be another battle. JV and varsity squad as well will be streamed here on the Magnitude Sports Network. And we're not done there. Saturday afternoon, the Eskimos of Esco come all the way across the state of Minnesota. They'll make the trek and take on the Yellow Jackets on Saturday for a matinee of fun. Should be a fun 3 games on our slate this weekend. That's kind of
your home territory, isn't it, Jason?
Yeah, that's going to be fun seeing the Eskimos. My father's Eskimo grads alumni, so it'll be exciting to see the Eskimos come to town. And they've played, we're going on a little basketball tangent, but they've played some great games throughout the years between Perham and Esco in this home here, 1 year, home there the next year series that they've had over the last few years.
So, yeah, join us on Magnitude Sports with a plethora of games coming up here. And if you enjoy high school sports and with the COVID, you can't make it out, please log in and enjoy each of the games. I believe we'll have the JV and varsity for both, all 3 games coming up. So you can start at about 6 o'clock at night and finish up about 10 all 3 nights with us, and we'll be glad to be with you.
So make sure to tune in. Thank you for joining us tonight. Quick recap on some of the scores from tonight. First match, it was Perham over Moorhead 43-30. Then it was Detroit Lakes over Moorhead 60-13. And the final match of the night, Detroit Lakes knocks off Perham by a score of 43-33. Lance, once again, always a pleasure. It's been fun working with you again.
Thanks, Jason, and thanks, viewers, and we'll see you soon.
The proceeding has been a presentation of the Magnitude Sports Media Network. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to order a DVD copy of this broadcast, simply visit msportsnet.com/DVD.